What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Jacob and Me podcast show. I am the host, Richard Radillo, joined by the man with the noggin, Jacob Bullard. Say hi, Jacob.
Hello.
We are back again with another dose of Jacob and Me. This episode will contain, first part, we're going to talk about what's coming out this week. We've got Assassin's Creed and Jacob's top 10, no, not top 10 list, but almost a top 10 list.
It's almost to that point. Had I played
Yes.
Rogue, it might even be a top 10.
Yes.
4, 6. Oh, no, there's 10 here.
Oh, there is? Okay.
I got 10 on this list.
All right. So, a top 10 list for Assassin's Creed games. And then we're going to talk about some baseball and projected awards from mostly Jacob. I'll chime in a little bit on that one. And then we are going to be talking in this week in history, and then going back to the chaos and where all the dust settled from this past Saturday with Brett Kavanaugh. All right, let's get into it. But if you didn't know what the Jacob and Me podcast is, it's where me and my friend Jacob here talk about anything and everything that we like what I just described in video games, pop culture, movies, TV shows, anything else we like to jerk off to. Then we get to our undrafted part and talk about sports that we like and sports stuff that we love. And then we get to the end with some boring stuff with history and politics, because we're not afraid to talk about politics. Let's get into it, Jacob.
Let's do it.
How you doing so far?
I'm doing good.
Doing good? Did your leg getting better? If you didn't know, Jacob had a bad leg last
Yeah,
couple
my
weeks.
leg is doing better. Thank you for asking. We'll find out tonight when we play softball.
Yes,
how far along it is.
we definitely play we play in a softball league every Tuesday at the moment. Does it just restart like right after we're done?
I think we only have like a couple weeks off, and then it's the next one.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I think they run like 3 seasons a year, maybe even 4 seasons a year.
Damn. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, before we get into the game or what's coming out this week, the game of the week, if you didn't know, what just came out on Friday is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which we're both playing and we're going to be talking about later on in the podcast. So that is our game of the week. It's not a Game Pass game of the week, unfortunately, because we're not playing Game Pass, so we don't have time for that.
It's just true.
But let's get into what cams out this week.
What cam's out this week?
Bring it back there.
It's okay. Let's start in the theater.
The theater.
2 movies that I have written down. Numero uno, First Man, portraying Ryan Gosling portraying Neil Armstrong and the Apollo mission that sent them to the moon.
Who's Buzz Aldrin in this?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I should have written it down, but I did not. The only 2 people that I wrote down from this was Ryan Gosling and Claire Foy. Claire Foy from The Crown, if you watch The Crown on Netflix. She's also what's the sequel to the Dragon Tattoo one? The girl in the Spider's Web.
Yeah.
She's the lead in that as well.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
She looks totally different.
She does.
Dang.
But that is her. So that movie comes out this Friday, October 12th. And then the other movie that comes out is Bad Times at the El Royale. Also this Friday, October 12th. Chris Hemsworth, Dakota Johnson, who I guess most recently is just famous for the 50 Shades movies.
Yeah.
John Hamm and Jeff Bridges is kind of like rounds out the pretty decent cast. And the trailer, I've really enjoyed the trailers for that movie. It just seems like a real life like mystery movie set to like the Guardians soundtrack is what it seems like. So
yeah,
far.
it looks really weird and like unorthodox. Like Chris Hemsworth, like in the trailers, I'm just like, is that Chris Hemsworth? What the heck? But yeah, it looks interesting. I know going to Buffalo Wild Wings, I didn't go this past weekend, but the last 2 weekends it's been like on the commercials for all the games, and the only person that's been really vocal about it is Kenji. She's like, I want to go see that. I'm like, I don't know if you want to go see that. I don't know if that's the movie for you, but yeah, it looks decent.
I'm interested in it. I'm definitely with Movie Pass. I'm definitely willing to go see that movie.
Okay, so we still gotta go see Venom. So
yeah, that's true.
This is true. Yes. All right.
Moving on to the small screen. There's like silver screen, and what's the other one that they?
I thought the small screen was a silver screen.
Really? Maybe I got them mixed up. I don't know. Anyway, television, the world of television. This is a really big week if you're a fan of the CW and all of their superhero-esque shows. So October 9th is the premiere of both The Flash and Black Lightning, which I think is season 4 for The Flash and season 2 for Black Lightning. So yeah, if you're a fan of the CW DC universe, it gets started this week. October 11th is the forevereth season of Supernatural starting up. October 12th, there are 2 streamable series that are premiering. The first is The Haunting of Hill House, which is a Netflix like horror series, which starts on the 12th. And also on Amazon Prime, they have a series called The Romanoffs that's starting on October 12th. That one, the premise for that one is really weird. I had to look it up because I had not heard about it. But apparently it's
Black Widow.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how the story is going to connect from episode to episode, but the premise of it is that it's following different people that each claim to be a descendant of the Romanov like family.
Okay.
Like the Romanov like royal line.
That sounds somewhat enticing. I don't know if I'll ever watch that, but maybe I might get a shot.
If you're into that sort of thing, it's going to be there for you. And then back to the CW, October 14th is the season 3 premiere of Supergirl. And the day after that, Monday, October 15th, is season 5 of Arrow.
Nice.
Which is kind of the crown jewel, I guess, of the CW.
Also started everything.
DC verse, yeah.
Well,
But it's still the best one.
Smallville kind of started that stuff for them, but yeah.
But they weren't the CW back then.
I mean, I guess, but it was still like under the same kind of umbrella.
Sure. Whatever. Smallville was a long time ago. Smallville is really underrated.
Yeah, that's what it was. I don't care.
Okay.
What's it called? Also, Man in High Castle. We forgot to say that.
Oh yeah, last week we missed that one last week.
The Walking Dead season 1,000 is just premiered.
Nobody cares about The Walking Dead.
I haven't recorded. I haven't watched it yet, but that just premiered this past Sunday, I believe. I'm like 90% sure.
Okay, I got 2 more.
Okay.
From the world of television. October 16th, which I believe is Tuesday. Next Tuesday. It is the season premiere of The Conners, which, if I remember correctly, is Roseanne without Roseanne.
Oh, this sounds bad.
So, like, they obviously removed Roseanne Barr from Roseanne.
Yeah.
But, like, they're continuing the series. So they're going to, like, they killed her off.
Was she have a heart attack?
No, I think it was worse than that. I feel like I remember reading that it was, like, suicide. I don't remember that.
That's really dark. That's, like,
I think I could be completely wrong right there, but I feel like I remember reading that.
That's, like, completely unnecessary.
Yeah. So they're killing off Roseanne. So they're carrying on with that's called The Conners. And then last but not least, well, maybe least actually, a new series on ABC. Oh yeah, and The Conners is on ABC. And then a new series premiere on ABC called The Rookie. It's the next series for Nathan Fillion. Obviously he had a pretty good run with Castle, which was also on ABC. And then famous for Firefly, obviously, and in the video game world has a good relationship with Bungie. He does a lot of voice work for the old Halo games, and he was Buck. He was Buck, and he was in Destiny. Yeah, he's Buck. That's why he was in.
Yeah,
that's why he was in 5.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he's Buck,
and he's also Cade 6 or 7 or whatever. Cade in Destiny.
Yeah, doesn't he die in this like last DLC or something like that? Nobody cares.
Probably because he didn't have time because of this new series.
This is true. Well, I mean, you could probably I don't think you just record out one time and you never have to do it again, kind of.
Yeah, he's probably really busy. You know, he's got to memorize all those scripts for The Rookie.
Doesn't sound good.
The Rookie is like he gets divorced and then decides that he wants to like
be a cop.
Yeah, because he wants to like do something new kind of thing. So like he's this like 40-year-old man who's like just starting out as a cop.
Wow, that's incredibly interesting. I guess my mom's probably gonna watch this show.
Oh, there you go. See, got one person already.
She was all up in that castle.
Okay,
it wasn't a good show though.
It was all right.
No,
it gets a little bit too soap opera-y at times.
Thank you,
but it's good. I like Nathan Fillion. Anyway,
pass.
In the world of video games, October 9th, which is today as of recording, Mark of the Ninja Remastered. That's being released on literally, I think, anything you want to play that on, including PC. October 11th.
Is it on my phone? Okay, it's not everything I want to play on.
Why would you want to play Mark Lineage on your phone?
I don't know.
October 11th is Child of Light coming to the Nintendo Switch, which is a very popular side-scrolling adventure game, sort of.
Never heard
It's
of
been
it.
on. It's probably on Games Pass. If
Makes
not,
sense.
it's been Games for Gold at least. Because I have it. I have not played it, but I have it on my system. So at some point, it's been Games for Gold or it's on Games Pass.
So you know who's the studio behind this?
No, I don't. I'm gonna look it up real quick though, just because I'm curious. October 12th is the 3DS remaster of Luigi's Mansion. I believe this is the 3DS remaster. I don't think it's the new one coming out already.
It can't be. That's too soon. They just announced it.
Yeah, but sometimes they do that where they like announce things that are just coming out in the fall.
I think they would want to put a lot more behind that before they release it. Doesn't seem like a good move. There's a lot of
Child of Light is Ubisoft Montreal.
okay. Seems like a Luigi's. There's a lot of nerds that are behind that kind of game, and they've always been like wanted that. Like when in the Smash trailer, they're like, "Oh wait, new Luigi's Mansion." Like, no, dude, it's just a trailer for Smash.
But maybe it was just foreshadowing for the Luigi's Mansion announcement that was coming.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played the original one. It looks like a lot of fun because it's Luigi and he's kind of a
Mario.
yeah, he's kind of a dork.
Mario.
And I really enjoy his just presence in those games. Like
That game was
in Smash.
I really enjoyed playing that game. It's a lot of fun, especially just how you're walking around with your little flashlight,
He's like,
and then you spot a ghost, and both you and the ghost are like, and then the vacuum starts, and you're chasing around everywhere. It's kind of fun.
and then
I really liked it.
or he's like the comic relief in any of those when you play Smashes whatever story mode, he's always the comic relief in those games.
Yeah, basically. The biggest release of this week, by far, will sell more copies than any of these games combined. October 12th, which is this Friday, is the release of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Also coming to a Battle Royale near you this time around because they're adding... I totally blanked on the name of the Battle Royale, the actual name of the mode.
This is called Call of Duty Battle Royale.
I don't think that's what it's called, but sure. And I've heard a lot of good things about their Battle Royale mode. I did not, unfortunately, did not get to play it in the beta that came out. I was out of town, and you just neglected to play it.
Well, I forgot, and if
Forgot.
I would have had to play it, I would have to play with Anthony, and he taints everything. So
Does
all the things he says,
fighting words.
all the things he says are it's like, oh, dude, this is so good. Like so this past week we watched the Conor McGregor fight, and we were all together with all our other friends, and he's like, oh yeah, dude, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And then Dan chimed in, and I was like, you guys had terrible taste in everything.
Dang.
Yeah, so I was just like, I don't take anything. Any credit.
That was him
behind
texting
it.
you right now. He's like, yo, I heard you say that.
It's actually his cousin George.
Oh.
But yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think it's gonna be a smoother online, but we're gonna talk about it next week anyways. So hopefully I've gotta beat Assassin's Creed by then.
Definitely not going to happen. That game is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
October 16th, which is next Tuesday, is the release of a game called Starlink. This is I believe that this game is going to truly be the death of the Toys to Life sort of thing. So this is the game, I don't know if you remember from E3, where you mount the ship on your controller, and then if you have it on Switch, you can
Ubisoft, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or at least they're publishing it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is one of their studios. It was at the conference because they had
you're right. It was. It was at the Ubisoft conference.
The Fox ship.
Yeah. So if you're buying this game for the Nintendo Switch, you can get an R-Wing and play that in this game. This game feels like it should have come out about 7 or 8 years ago.
Probably.
I just don't think that. I mean, because Disney Infinity, even things like Disney Infinity, I guess it's possible that Skylanders is still kind of going, but you definitely don't hear about it as much as you used to.
I think the gameplay doesn't hold up. I think that's what
maybe
it is. It's just it doesn't get kids interested. I think Roadblocks, it seems like it's taking all those games out, but it doesn't even have any kind of the toy things.
They also canceled the Lego thing too, right? Because they had a Lego little figures.
Yeah, it was.
So Lego and Disney are both out.
Yeah.
Skylanders is probably still going, and I think really at this point Nintendo's kind of accepted that amiibos are just collectibles and not in-game things, because the in-game stuff that they do is really kind of pointless.
Yeah, it's all cosmetic.
For the most part, yeah.
Well, they
Or
save
like
some
in
data.
Zelda, you get like a chest.
Yeah, you save some data on your thing
Yeah.
for Smash.
So like Nintendo's kind of surrendered, but they still make a ton of money just on selling the figures, just without the
fill them pockets. Boy.
yeah. And last but not least, for anyone out there that might still play this game,
Oh man.
I don't know if any of you exist, but if you do, let us know in the comments. I can't believe they're still making DLC for this game, but For Honor Marching Fire DLC. I can't believe they haven't just killed this game yet, but For Honor Marching Fire releases Tuesday, October 16th. I'm sure that I actually did not look up any details for this, but I'm sure there are like new classes or like new fighters to choose from.
Dude, it's like
wow.
It's our melee version of Siege, man. It's so good. You can play this competitive.
Ubisoft had such a strong year, the year that For Honor came out, that I'm surprised they didn't just dump this and like focus on other things.
Oh, I think they have enough resources to consolidate to that, but the game, I don't know. The game is they needed a bigger lineup of guys, I think. In my eyes, I think they needed
to balance their roster is all they needed to do.
Well, yeah, I know that, but like I think if they would have had a more variety of guys, like they didn't, like even the original lineup of Siege, like that, like it's almost double the original For Honor lineup that came out. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
If you don't have that variety, if you don't like that game is not. I mean, it's not a shooter, obviously, but it has the same elements that you have from like a Dota or a LoL. You kind of have that same kind of feel to it, and it would only make sense if you just had more variety out of there. Like I'm not saying like each unit could have had like two, like Siege has it like two from each country or whatever, you have it. But then you have a defender. Like maybe they needed to do that. Maybe have an attacking guy and then a defending guy. You know, a guy that's more defensive or whatnot. It has stats that are more towards a defending fighter. You know what I mean? The game just didn't have depth. It was kind of remind me of Evolve. That's what I
don't
thought
speak
about.
don't speak ill of Evolve. Don't even go there.
What do you mean?
For Honor is such a more poorly constructed game than Evolve was.
Why was Evolve just as better?
Evolve was better because it like they struck a much better balance with the characters that you could use fighting the monster. I guess, but that's the same thing. It was like over and over kind of gameplay. Like Evolve's problem was content, not gameplay. For Honor's problem is gameplay.
I guess, but I think it's you could have taken the gameplay like weight and would have outweighed with variety of characters or a variety of play styles. All I see is that game. I see Dota. And that's all. Like I was like, why didn't you just do what Dota did? But you just make them different fighters.
But it's not like an MMO.
Dota's not an MMO technically. It's like what do you call it? It's like an
MMORPG.
It's not an RPG. What are you talking about? It's
yeah,
like
you're right.
LOL.
It's not an RPG.
I don't know what you call
Yeah,
it.
LoL is an MMO.
It's like an arena thing.
Yeah, that's an MMO.
Or like an arena MMO. Yeah, but you're ranking up as like in the same game. You're not ranking up like your character throughout like a progress of the games. Like the next game you don't carry over.
Sure. So my only problem with For Honor was that I liked what they tried to do with like the combat.
Yeah.
I really liked that system. The only problem was that it just wasn't balanced. There were two fighters that were better than the rest of them.
Yeah.
And everyone knew that.
And then changing stuff like they do in Siege, like it should have already been what's the word? Grinded out or fine or edged out by the time it released. But by the time it released, that's when the problem was, and then they had to change a lot of stuff, and then there's no point in playing that game then because like there was already a broken game. This is why like I'm always about quality control. Like push the game back 6 more months. Who cares? Comes out in the fall.
Yeah, but games go to die in the fall.
Yeah, but like if it was a good game, then I think people would have came back to it like Siege. When did Siege came out in the fall?
Late December. No. Siege came out like right before Christmas. It was after everything.
Well, then, yeah, you push it back then. You're fine. What do you think Battlefield 5 is doing?
Yeah, that's because Battlefield 5 was in the middle of Call of Duty and...
That's just a feature argument right there.
No, but Battlefield 5 is a huge... It didn't move out of the fall. It moved to a different date.
Yeah, exactly.
You're talking about a game moving out of a time period where it has the space to breathe, and like not everyone is spending money on video games
Yeah, exactly.
every single week like they are in the
you're
fall.
just like-
You're talking about taking that and moving that into a time period where
'Cause it came
everyone's
out
buying a
it
week
came out
every
in the
game.
Spring. It came out in the first quarter.
Yeah, it was like March.
So
I
yeah,
think.
you push it back because it wasn't a ready game. So you push it back to Christmas, or before Christmas, then.
Okay, whatever.
Because you're saying, oh, it's gonna get bunched into the fall games. Okay, then put it right at the end.
Sure. We'll have to go back 2 Christmases and see what it looked like. But it would have been stepping on its own because that was the same year the Siege came out.
Was it? No,
It was
Siege came
For
out, way
Honor.
before that.
Oh no, it would have been year 2 of Siege.
Yeah,
It came out the March after Siege came out.
yeah. So it would have been fun.
It was probably stepping on something else, like either Far Cry or Assassin's Creed or something else that was back
guess.
then.
This is why I don't like
Or Watch Dogs.
trying
Watch
to
Dogs
separate.
2.
I don't like when studios try to separate like the dates the stuff comes out because like, oh, it's the same. Like it's not the same game.
I don't know. Ask EA how how Titanfall 2 went.
Yeah, but those are
releasing
like
a week later after
it's
Battlefield.
First person shooter versus a first person shooter. Like that's a terrible idea. They should have just pushed it
Fine.
back.
Whatever.
Even though that game already got pushed back anyways, right?
What did?
One of the that Titanfall got pushed back to the fall because it was supposed to come out in the spring, I believe.
I don't remember that, but you could be right. I don't know.
Because that's a terrible decision. Let's keep moving. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We like arguing with each other. It's fun. We are going to get into our first thoughts of Assassin's Creed.
Let's do it.
Do you want to start this or do I start
Go
this?
for it.
Okay, I start this?
Go for it.
Man. So I haven't checked like my amount of time I played, but I think I'm around 6 hours. And I probably spent the first 2 or maybe 3 hours on the first island just because I was just like trying to get used to the game. And I'm only playing this game for the mainline quest, I think. But my problem is like I want to go do the side quest. But like, anyways, that's just like me playing the games, like, and telling you guys how much I've played. I've gotten to what's the first area you go to when you meet the wolf? What's that? Megaris?
Yes.
So I've just gotten there, and I'm just like starting to get my feet wet. I've taken out a couple of little outposts and whatnot, but that's like as far as I've gone. But I think I have a lot to say about it already. How do you want to start? You want to start with like the combat or like the like the HUD or not the screens?
Go ahead and start with the combat.
Okay, the combat for me is kind of I'm playing. I like the daggers.
Okay.
The dagger combo. I don't like playing with the heavier weapons. I like being more agile.
Okay.
I guess, and more be able to have the dodging kind of element. Because I find I don't even need a parry, honestly, most of the time with that. And then when you get that like time dodge, you get the kind of slow down.
Yeah.
So like coming from because the last Assassin's Creed I played was 3, so that's a big jump. That's a huge jump.
So this is your first Assassin's Creed with like the new systems.
Yeah, because the new system obviously coming from Origins,
Right. Yeah.
which kind of like took them into the realm of like a truly RPG kind of, I guess, game in a way, right?
Yeah.
Like where it was like
Definitely a huge step in that direction.
yeah, like basically like they were basically like, this is an RPG game, okay, guys? Assassin's Creed RPGs now. And
Yeah.
like, okay, all right. I was going to try to play Origins before this, but like I just like never got around to it, unfortunately. And I think Josh didn't even play Origins either. So, but the combat's totally different. I feel like this is more or less like playing. It's not playing. I mean, I felt like when you have like those guys lining up on you, like you're able to just bob and weave. I feel like that's similar. I feel like it feels like okay, that's similar, and how I did it in like 3 and 2. But it just feels like a little bit too easy. Maybe because of the difficulty I'm playing on. Because you're like on like the unreasonable difficulty where you're like, you just want to waste your time fighting people. I'm just trying to go up and assassinate people.
That's all I'm trying to do too. That's
Yeah.
most of what I do is I'm sneaky.
Yeah. So like getting into combat, I've only really gotten to combat like, I mean, not too much in a way to like I've gotten enough to where I'm like, okay, I gotta hold. I'm mastering this down. The only time I'm really getting into combat where I really enjoy it is going against the mercenaries, with those one-on-ones, or going against like a boss, like killing the Cyclops is kind of fun. But yeah, it's like it's just a little weird. You know, I feel maybe it might be too easy because I've never played Assassin's Creed. I don't think you were was there an option in 3 or 2 where you can play at a harder difficulty at all?
3, yes. 2, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I've never played the harder difficulties on any of them. I just played the base one because I just want to play the game, play for the story. And the story so far is like when you find out Cassandra over, because I'm playing as Cassandra, you're playing as Alexios,
Right.
and just to see what was different. I'll ask you a question later about that. But like, it just seems a little too easy for me, and to grasp it. Like the pairing, it's like kind of similar to what people were talking about with the Spider-Man game, where you only really need to use like one of the skills in a way. You can literally get away probably without using any of the what are those power-ups.
Oh, when you like use the left bumper?
Yeah.
So like the Spartan kick, you can like rip, depending on which ones you've unlocked. I'm not sure which ones you chose, but like the first kind of set are the Spartan kick. You can heal yourself. You can do like the bull rush where you like charge at the guy and you can rip the shield out of his hand. Yeah. Those are like the 4 like starting ones.
Yeah, I used the poison one because I was just like poisoning people.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if it works really well, but that was the first one I unlocked because I was like, ooh, poison. Like, and then I'm kind of going on that tree. I've only done the 3 arrow ones and then the bull rush one.
Okay.
But yeah, it seems like even if with those, you don't even need to use those to get through the combat for me. From what the difficulty I'm playing at, and I'm really like cut up. Like once like the leveling is really weird in like the combat in the sense where if you're a guy fighting a guy that's similar level to you or like basically base level, like I really don't have any problems. I'm not sure if the difference is the armor, because I kind of noticed the guys wearing a little bit more armor. Obviously, are a little bit harder to chew up, but I haven't had a problem with that. The assassinations are pretty easy. I think they might have given, I don't know, like the directions and whatnot and how they set you up and how to assassinate people. I think one assassination I held the Y button on accident and it tried to pick him or pickpocket him. I was like, oh crap. And then he's like, hey, what are you doing?
Hi.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh crap. And then the assassinations are pretty cool so far from what I've enjoyed in the killing, I guess. Sophia, my niece, was watching me doing this last night too.
Excellent education for a 2.5-year-old.
Yeah, she was like she actually enjoyed. I don't know why she liked. She really liked me when I was on the horse.
Okay.
I was like, I don't get this, but she was like, oh, when I killed one guy and I threw him off the balcony. She's like, oh, she's not even 2 yet, which is funny. But yeah, that part. But yeah, I feel like you don't even need to use those abilities at times. Even though I really like using them, I unlocked the one where you throw the dagger from like a mile away and then you're right there. I'm like, this makes no sense, but it works because you can combo right off of that. So it's kind of perfect if you got like a 2-man thing going on and then you throw that and then you combo off into the next guy. I can't wait to get unlocked to where you could just combo like on like 6 guys or something like that. Because that's like what I really enjoyed about Assassin's Creed 2 was just going up and just like assassinating like 5 guys at one time. Yeah,
the double assassination.
Yeah, because it slows down, and like that's the only part I like. Like when I'm like, okay, I only wanted to slow down when I assassinate people, but I get the dodging stuff. For me, it's just a little too easy. I'm not sure if it's a little bit harder for you when you dodge or anything like that, or when you parry. Like, what's the benefits? But is it any different from like I don't know? Okay,
combat's exactly the same, except if you get hit, you get wrecked.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the reason why I don't play in the harder difficulties. So I'm just like, I'm a little lazy, but I'm also like, I don't really have time to kill you, dude. Just die already, so I want to listen to a dialogue in a way. But I'm also getting a good experience with the combat. I just like going around assassinating people. Like you've been hearing me last night, like, oh, I'm gonna get you, or like I don't know. I sound like the Joker sometimes, or like some like serial killer. Like, oh, this guy has no idea what's coming at him right now.
Yeah.
I've always liked that feeling in this game so far. So I've gotten the combat for me. I'm somewhat satisfied, but somewhat not because like I don't have to do as much.
What do you think of like the world so far, and what do you think of the story so far?
Story, well, like I haven't really got that deep into the story, but the Cassandra side of the story. So my question to you is, are you the baby when you're Alexios? Or
okay, I see. Okay.
Are you Cassandra? Or no? So you're older then.
So I starting as Alexios, Cassandra is the baby.
Okay, so it's switched.
Which was a little bit disappointing for me when I found that Anthony told me that.
Yeah.
I was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't like played from maybe like just a little bit different time period.
Yeah. Because it wouldn't make any sense though if it was.
So do you still have Marcos and like
Yeah.
the little girl?
Yeah, but for now,
Oh
Phoebe.
man, that's disappointing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a little bit disappointing for me.
So it makes, but I mean, it gives you the option. But yeah, it's a little disappointing because I was like, like she was saying Alexios, and I was like, that's Jacob. But yeah, so that was my question to you, is like if that was like the way it went for you, but I guess not. So, but yeah, finding out that like the wolf, like when you actually leave the first island, that's when it gives you the title screen. I was like, God damn it! They spent 3 hours on this goddamn island, and I finally get the title screen. It was a little disappointing. But yeah, this game, the game's story so far, like when you find out, like, oh dude, that's my dad, like, and then you get the contract to do that. Spoiler alert, it's too bad. But I mean, that's just, that's not, you just find out that. So you don't, you probably have the option probably not to kill him or whatnot, or explain yourself, or where you join the Spartans and you kill the Athenians or whatnot. Who knows? Because it seems like the guy that was visiting is probably Athenian that has put the contract on him because he was wearing blue.
Okay.
So am I spot on that?
I'm not gonna answer that question.
Ah, damn it.
You'll figure that out
Okay.
sooner rather than later. So yeah, so I'm playing this game on Nightmare and exploration mode. So like, are you playing on exploration mode or are you playing on like guided
I
or
didn't
whatever?
play
You're
the
playing.
guided one.
Okay. So Nightmare,
I didn't want to make it too easy.
nothing is. It's like the same sort of ridiculous hiding that there's kind of always been in Assassin's Creed at this point. Nothing is different about the combat except for the fact that if you like most people can 2-hit you. Some things can 1-hit you.
Oh, does.
Or like they just have such a rapid fire attack that like if you get hit once, you're not gonna be able to dodge a second one. So like you're just dead. So that's a little bit frustrating sometimes, just because in the combat there are a few attacks, especially from the bigger enemies and bears as well, that like it tracks so hard even if you jump to the side or whatever. Like the attack tracks, so like it doesn't matter that you jump to the side. So I guess there might be a little bit, just because of how much damage you take, there might be a little bit more emphasis on trying to get that time dodge, so you get the slowdown.
So your windows are smaller, basically.
Probably, yeah, just a little bit.
Or
As far as the world is concerned, I actually feel like this game looks worse than Origins did, which surprises me because Assassin's Creed Origins is set in Egypt and it's basically a desert. But
you can mess up a desert.
Right, I know, but I thought that this, like being in Greece with like all of the like with that whole setting and like that time period, I thought that they had like a really big opportunity to make this game to like pop, and to me it doesn't.
I think the only
it just feels like Assassin's Creed Origins 2.
The only time it really pops is when they go into the dialogue, really. But then like you see like the voice act, the lips don't match up to the voices, unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
But yeah, that's the only time it really pops. Like even when you climb up to get the synchronized, it doesn't look. I mean, it looks all right. I'm not like, for me, like I don't ever think the Assassin's Creed games look good. So
okay, does.
But I'm satisfied. I'm not gonna say like it's a video game. Like of course it's not gonna look amazing, but at least I still enjoy it. I still like when I look at Cassandra's face and I look at Connor's face. I'm like Assassin's Creed 3. I'm like they look the same. Like in quality.
It's probably fair.
I don't. I'm not gonna be a nitpicky on like the graphics for me. But like it looks fine. It looks doable.
I think that they've I like the way that they've kind of made the individual trees for like leveling with your ability points and stuff like that, with like assassin, warrior, and hunter. For like, so hunter like mainly being about your bow. Warrior is like open combat. Assassin is like sneaky combat, hiding, stuff like that. What bugs me, I do feel like that it's getting to the point. Well, let me back up just a little bit. When they jumped from Syndicate to Assassin's Creed Origins, there was obviously a huge change in the style of gameplay. There was a couple of systems that they added in Syndicate that were like kind of introducing you more to the RPG leveling. But the combat specifically, it's kind of the same criticism that I have of like The Division, where like you have a gun, but you have to shoot that dude 200 times until he loses all of his health points before he dies. He doesn't just die when you shoot him. That kind of thing. And that's what this feels like. So especially playing on Nightmare difficulty, like it is of almost no benefit to me to sneak around and kill people, because there are probably, especially when you're like clearing camps or attacking like Spartan or Athenian bases or whatever, that like half the people there you can't assassinate. Like you literally can't do enough damage to them to kill them in one hit. So you're forced, no matter like you could sneak the whole area perfectly, and like
I've gone up the tree on that, like the assassination thing at all.
Yeah, so like, and I have the first two that like, so I have an extra 30% and then an extra 40% on that, and then I have an ability where, if I'm like super sneaky, I can like hold Y behind someone and it does double damage if I can do that. So like, I have all of those, and there are still like, I can't kill any of the captains. I can't kill any of like the more heavily armed Spartans or Athenians.
I'm
like,
murdering the captains.
So like anything. So I can't, and because I'm playing on Nightmare, I can't out level anything. Everything levels with me. So like if I go back to the starting island,
it's the same level.
So like I'm level 15 right now. If I were to go back to the island, everyone there would be level 15.
Duh.
So like you can't just like level yourself up and come back and beat it if it's too hard. Like it's just that's the level that it is. It will always be your level.
Yeah, that sounds like it sucks.
So like it's frustrating because this is supposed to be, at least the origins of this franchise was like super stealth, where like you were desynchronized and you failed quests if you were caught, if you were spotted, and it would like reset you and reload the save, like stuff like that. And now it's got to the point where I literally can't do that. Like I want to try to play this game stealthy, but I get to the point where it's like, okay, there's two captains and a like phalanx dude left, and like now I have to wait for them to get isolated so I don't have to fight two of them in open combat at once.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, the only time I can't really assassinate is on mercenaries, like on the same level as me, but like they barely have any health at the end of that. But maybe if you invest into those stats, you should be able to assassinate people.
Probably eventually.
Yeah,
my phone goes off right there.
Because like it doesn't make any sense.
I'm just not. I'm not high enough.
Yeah.
I'm not high enough level to continue purchasing in those categories. I have to be level 16 before I can get the last like assassin damage buff, and it's like I'm just like not quite there yet. But yeah, so that's a little bit disappointing. As far as the weapons, recently I've been using the spear a lot just because with the amount of damage that I take for getting hits, I don't like being that close. So I use the spear for the range and just like, just step aside, get a couple of like pokes in. Yeah. And like, so I've just because of, I guess, more or less the difficulty, not necessarily like that's the weapon I would choose to use. I think the story so far, at least with the family part of it, has been good. But in the beginning, that I also got this really big, up until that first twist, when you learn like about Nicholas, there was a huge sense of like, I'm just killing people because this guy told me to. Like there's like zero character development for like why I'm all of a sudden an assassin. Like you're friends with Marcos, and like he like gets into debt with this guy on the island, the Cyclops. And so like you have that kind of thing, but like there are some of the quests that you get early on where it's like, why am I even doing this? Like why, like in the context of my character, am I even doing this?
Until you get the title screen.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's not without its flaws. Definitely. This game, like IGN review, for example, said that like this was the best Assassin's Creed has ever been. Like, I don't know what they're smoking over at IGN, but they should send some over here, because I wish I thought of this game like this, but I just don't. It's starting to push the boundaries. I know Assassin's Creed has never been like a realistic game. The way that you hide from enemies has always been super cheesy, where it's like you're just in this like
I'm in tall grass.
You're in this grass that's like barely tall enough to hide you. It's like, oh, you can't see me anymore. Where'd I go? So like it's always had that sort of thing, and it definitely still does. Like you can literally hide in like a little like 2x2 bush. Yeah. They're like, oh, what?
Where'd he go?
So it has that, but now like in the last game they introduced the like arrow that you can literally fly around as if you're Yondu. Just be like, whoop whoop whoop. Let me fly this arrow. So like it's really pushing it for me. You can climb any surface that you want.
That's what I've been saying. I was like, I'm kind of disappointed I can climb up everything.
You can literally just climb anything. You're like, oh, look at that wall. Look at that completely smooth surface. Let me climb that right now.
There's a couple walls of the Megaris, the first like kind of castle little city. Okay. Like there was a difference. Like there was like different sections. So like you had to jump up. So like you totally had to like she couldn't, or for me, my character couldn't climb like that. This like whatever you want to call it, blank wall. Yeah. So she had to like leap up. So like I was like, okay, there's a little bit there, but most of it I was like, eh.
Yeah. So yeah, for me it's just more of what Origins was, kind of just more of the same. It's just super frustrating when you're fighting a mercenary or fighting like a high level dude in a camp or something, and it's literally just this like 5-minute battle of you just like poke, dodge, poke,
So
dodge, poke.
you would
And you
say
have to like, it takes you like 100 hits to kill a guy.
So you're saying like your bad experience is kind of like more or less on like the difficulty that you started on.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's just, it's compounded by the fact that I can't be higher level than anything. So like every single fight that I get into is exactly this, where it's like I'm just grinding it out, like taking like I'll do like a full like 4 or 5 hit combo and it'll do like 3% damage. So like it's just like I have to sit there and like poke the dude with the spear until he falls over, and like there is no. So I don't know if you've come up against there's a I forget what they're called, but there's this Spartan unit that has this like it's almost a shield that's almost as tall as he is, and this dude's like huge.
Okay.
And like so if I press and hold Y, so I'm getting an extra 70% assassin's damage plus whatever my armor buffs are giving me, plus double that if I get like the super sneaky thing where I hold Y, and like I can only take like 30 to 40% of his health with that attack. So like then I can't take his shield from him. So like I literally have to sit there and just like wait for the perfect thing. So and this is another thing that's always been in Assassin's Creed, where you're basically waiting for your enemy to attack you. And
then you just dodge.
Right. You either dodge or like in the old Assassin's Creed you would counter, and that's how you would get most of you would just hit like I think it was RB and X or LB and you would literally just like someone would come at you and you'd like slip them and stab them, and then like the next guy and you slip them and stab them.
That's another thing too. I was asking you and Josh, I was like, when do you get the Assassin's Creed blade?
Oh.
Is it even in the game?
I don't think it was in Origins. I'm blanking now.
Yeah, that's why I'm like
it might not be.
Like this is like kind of like a deal. I was not a deal breaker, but I'm like, oh dog, I want to like go catch.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think.
Because that's like for me, that's how like iconic to like the Assassin's Creed games.
I don't think we're gonna get that.
But like I mean, you have like the spear thing now, or like the end of
the end. It's like Leonidas' spear.
Yeah. So you get to that, and then you also get the sword. So
the Spartan kick thing too is like, it bugs me now because you can literally kick a dude. Like so, I know how Anthony plays this game is he just like lures people to a ledge and then Spartan kicks them off.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's
it's
a very much Anthony thing.
So like you don't even have to fight anyone. You just literally just Spartan kick people because you can kick them like 30 yards.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
For context for Anthony in Skyrim like used to load up on like damage on like he used to craft like these bows that were just ridiculous, and when I saw the tree for the hunter, and I was like, I guess Anthony's gonna max out on all those. I was like, this is ridiculous.
He'd have it where it's like he's basically hidden no matter like no one can ever see him even if he's standing right in front of them, and then he gets like ×3 damage for being hidden, and then he has this super powerful bow.
Yeah. And then he's like a dude in Nevada, like in a Predator, basically.
Yeah.
Or what's it called? The Wanted. Remember the Wanted at the end? It was like he shot that. I was like, no. I'm talking about he was like in a house and he shot this gun and it went like a mile away, basically.
Yeah.
I was like, this is stupid. What the heck?
Yeah. So anyway, having played the vast majority of Assassin's Creed games that have come out, like except for like a couple of the simultaneous release ones, it's kind of frustrating to see it go from you're desynchronized for not being stealthy to you literally can't be stealthy and finish this. So.
Yeah, and then another thing is I think the Adder the Adamus story gets a lot of bad rap too, unfortunately. But I'm like, that's the point of like why you're in there and whatnot. I feel like they haven't really done that well so far. I mean, I haven't played Origins, so I don't really know much of the main characters on that. So, but I feel like I should have before I was in the Animus. I should have got like maybe like a recap, not a recap, but like some kind of thing to where it would have been like you can just get up and go in a way.
Yeah, it didn't give you any information like for that girl either. That like, so like I gave you I guess a little bit of background. Like she's like on the run from Abstergo because she basically like tried to complete it. She was working on the Bayek like stuff in Egypt, and like she was not supposed to have been. She was told to like stop doing that. She had her own like kind of made up or like her own kind of special animus that she made, or like she made modifications to, and like that's what she was using. And like they ended up coming after her and they like killed the person that was working with her. And so, like, she's on the run from Abstergo, basically. But, like, they don't give you any of that in the beginning of this game. It's just, like, her and this doctor or whatever.
Yeah. I'm really glad I didn't do, like, an animus from, like, this Assassin's Creed movie, honestly.
They actually know. Most people won't know this because I'm the nerd that one like goes and gets all the question marks on the map, but two, I read like all the emails and like everything when. So like I haven't. What's another thing that's been bugging me is that I haven't been back out of the Animus yet.
Yeah.
Because I want to like get into that. I don't even know if there are like little missions to do outside the Animus, but so like in Assassin's Creed Origins, I think it's the first time you come out of the Animus. If you read all the emails, it actually talks about a prototype Animus that is the Animus from the movie, is the Assassin's Creed movie.
But I'm just glad that like you don't get an Animus like that. And it's like it's like Avatar basically. I was like, okay, then I'm fine with this. But yeah. Now let's get into. Oh, actually, before that, let us know in the comments down below. Let us know your first thoughts on the Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I was say Origins right now. And let us know if you agree or disagree with us. Let us know your experience so far. Let us know difficulty, which character, either Cassandra or Alexios, and how far you've gotten. If you've already beaten the game, you probably have no life, but it's okay.
Or just playing. What if someone's just playing on easy, just trying to mainline it?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do too.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I'm playing on like normal. Like I could have picked easy, but I'm like I should have probably picked easy, but it's what else.
Yeah, it is what it is. You can always change it if you wanted to.
Nah, I'm good. Here we go.
All right, let's do it.
Are gonna move on to Jacob's list on the best Assassin's Creed games,
which is of course the final list that can ever be,
undisputed, cannot challenge list. If you can challenge it in the comments down below, that's too bad. You won't have enough evidence to beat this list. I've only played 1, 2, 3, and then this one now. So I've like completely was like, when you told me there was 2 between 2 and 3, and I was like,
yep.
Well, okay, I guess I can't do this. But you're gonna tell us what the definitive list is.
Yes, I am.
So
I'm gonna start from the bottom. First off, I guess a disclaimer. Yeah. I have not played Assassin's Creed Rogue, and that's the one that came out simultaneously with Black Flag. But it was on it's like I traded in my 360 to get my Xbox One. And then when Black Flag came out on Xbox One, they released Assassin's Creed Rogue on Xbox 360. So like I haven't played that one. And I also haven't played Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, which is the one set in New Orleans, which came out day and date with Assassin's Creed 3.
Yes.
So I haven't played those two. But I have played all of the rest of the mainline Assassin's Creed games. So I'm going to start from the bottom. I'm going to start with Assassin's Creed Unity, mainly just because of how badly they botched that game at launch with like the lack of graphics. There were like people were missing their faces. It was literally just like 2 eyeballs and like this weird colored like head.
Sounds like an Ubisoft
There
launch
was just
game.
a lot of problems with that game at launch, and it kind of really tainted it because it took a few weeks really to get that game. There were so many glitches. There were like quest breaking glitches in the early game where like you couldn't complete this thing because like some chariot or like horse and buggy or whatever like ran off somewhere and like you just couldn't complete it now. And you had to like restart.
Was the game like launched too early? Is that what it probably looked like? Or
probably by like just like a month or two.
Oh, okay.
Like it there were just a couple things that like if you had started that game 2 months later, you would have been fine.
Yeah.
But like getting that game on launch, it was really, really rough.
Does.
There was also like co-op missions or whatever, but like you either couldn't connect or like it would just bug out, and like one person would get credit and one person wouldn't, and it was super frustrating. Like I was trying to play it with Josh. We were trying to do all the co-op missions. That was super frustrating.
But yeah.
So I loved the setting though. Like it was set in like Paris around like the Revolution.
So like
and it was like this 4-player. There were like
was
up to 4-player co-op.
Lafayette.
Yes, I think so.
Lafayette was in.
Lafayette was in the game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's sick. Sorry.
So yeah, so Unity is the bottom just because, and for the record, in the rest of this list, like there's a huge gap between Unity and like number 10 and number 9. There's a really big gap there. In like my opinion of these games.
Just because of launch.
Number 9 is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. This was really like the last of the more traditional Assassin's Creed, and like they moved off to like Origins after this. So like they totally changed the system. This was also the last of like the annualized ones too. Well, I guess they annualized Odyssey, but whatever. It was like it had been like every year until Syndicate, basically.
They're not planning on making one next year.
There's
right?
not going to be an Assassin's Creed next year. Yeah. So number 9 is Syndicate. I really enjoyed this game with Jacob and Evie. you can actually get EV on the Uplay thing to be on your ship in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which makes no sense because it's like 2,000 years difference, but whatever. Yeah, it's like you can pay like 20 Uplay points and EV will be a lieutenant on your ship in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I know.
That makes no sense.
So this one was set in Victorian London. It was like 1880s, 1890s. I really enjoyed you had to basically go around like wrestling back control of each kind of district from this syndicate. That's why it was called Syndicate. It was like this group of people, almost kind of like the head of it was almost kind of like a Moriarty type from like Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, okay.
Sort of thing. That kind of vibe from it, and like that kind of time period.
Holmes?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, I did.
Ooh,
So like I really enjoyed the story, and I really enjoyed. That was the first of the mainline ones, I think, where you could play as a woman.
Wasn't it
as
free
well.
to play? I think one time.
It probably had like free to play weekends.
No, like I think it went on like Games for Gold or something like that.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't remember
I'll
because
double check.
I bought all of these at launch, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Number 8 for me is the first one, Assassin's Creed. It's that low only because if you go back now, like you didn't play. You played 1, 2, and 3, right? And then now you've played Odyssey.
One is the one I least remember because I went through it pretty quickly.
Yeah,
And it was so linear too.
the story is cool with Altair and all that, and like that part of it still holds up. But where Assassin's Creed fails now is that you can't do a double assassination. You can only like kill one person at a time. There's no chains or anything. So like you literally have to you kill someone and you have to completely finish the animation of like laying him down before you can kill the guy next to him. Like that. There's like no fluidity in the combat or anything like that. The story is good. Like I said, it really teaches you how to like sneak around. There was like a bunch of different ways that you could go around like killing your targets. And I really liked you had to like report to the local leader or whatever. He would give you a feather and you have to like get the guys. Every time you killed someone, you like put the blood on the feather and you had to take the feather back or whatever, that sort of thing.
I enjoyed it because it kind of reintroduced like kids or people at the time to like a stealthy game.
Yeah.
Which weren't really popular. I mean, you had Metal Gear Solid, but
that and like maybe Splinter Cell.
Yeah. So like it was like a really cool way to like give it a different look too, because like you had like it's all shooters,
right?
Going away.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like not shooters, running like dudes with guns. Like you're basically like a secret agent, but like oh no, you're a secret assassin.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So that game was really a lot of fun, and like the end when you like get back out of the Animus for the last time, and like how if you choose to do all the dialogue options with Lucy, like that game really, it's one of the first games that I remember that like paid off to do like everything, like try to like every time you exit the Animus, like talk to Lucy every single time and like do that whole conversation. And like at the end with like you could turn on Eagle's vision in like the room they were holding you, and there was like all the writing on the wall and it just like blew your mind. You're like cool. But what doesn't hold up anymore is the gameplay. Like that's why it's so low on this list. I tried to play the remastered one when they did that and like go back to, or maybe it was when it became backwards compatible or whatever, and like go back to that game and play it after having even just playing 2 and going back to 1. Yeah. That game's rough. It's so slow. That's just why it's so low for me.
Man, the graphics.
It's not even graphics wise.
No, I'm saying like some stupid kid will be like the graphics.
Yeah,
the graphics suck on this game. The graphics.
Moving on, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This one you're playing as Edward Kenway. This is Connor's grandfather.
Yo ho yo.
This game is very beautiful graphically, but the story is ridiculously predictable, where like the story in real life mirrors the story in the game, where like you end up fighting, well, spoilers I guess for Black Flag, but like you end up fighting.
This game's like 5 years
There's
old.
like this line of people that are, I forget what it's called, but it's like they have like a special ability, and like you're hunting one and like kill one. He's like the head like bad guy, your target through like the whole game. And then like one of his descendants like attacks you in real life at like the end. So it's like it like comes full circle like in both time frames.
What the
sort of thing. So it's like this guy that gets like reincarnated or whatever.
Okay. All right. That makes no sense, but okay.
Anyway, but that game is really gorgeous, and like this is what introduced the naval combat,
And
that all the
spinning game
future.
off of this stuff, kind of, right?
What?
Aren't they making their own like pirate ship game now?
Oh yeah, Skull and Bones. I don't think that's actually like in the Assassin's Creed universe. I think
Yeah,
they're just taking like the ship
Yeah.
combat. Yeah, the combat elements from that. Number 7 is where I have Odyssey. I have it. I'll just jump straight to 6 as well with Origins. I think I have both of these kind of really tied together. To me, they're basically the same game. Like they're just in a different place. The
Different
graphics
skins.
are like
New
big.
skins.
Yeah, it really feels like there's even things that I notice, just like how buildings are set up and how the caves and such are set up, where it sometimes it feels like they probably just copied that from. Like I bet you could find that exact building in an Origin somewhere. That sort of thing. Like they took all the same properties, into this game, sort of thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if they took some people from the Far Cry teams and
Maybe
threw
that
them
too.
on this game
For like the forest and like.
Yeah, because when I play this game and I'm discovering stuff, or like when I go through things, I'm like, this feels like Far Cry a little bit.
So like, and I also lump these two together, just like they're both the like RPG Assassin's Creeds, and I'm really not enjoying those as much as I enjoyed like when Assassin's Creed was in its heyday, like that style of game. I'm just not enjoying the RPG as much. So that takes us to. Did I skip it? Did I miscount here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 and 5. Oh, so yeah, I should have said 6 when I said 7. So 6 and 5 are Odyssey and Origins. Number 4, I have Revelation. This is the third of the Ezio games. Ezio Auditore di Firenze. Really, this one had like a much stronger tie to the AC1 and like Altair storyline. Like you end up in that vault at the end with like Altair's body is like in the chair there with you or whatever. So like it really like it brings that whole circle like from Assassin's Creed 1 to Revelation. Like it ties that all together like really well in a way that I really liked anyway. And Ezio is probably the best character. Not probably, is the best character that Assassin's Creed has ever put out. So yeah, that's why I have it in there.
Which one was in Turkey?
That was Revelation.
Okay.
It was in Istanbul, it is in Istanbul today. It was Constantinople.
Yeah.
At the time.
Which would have been the Ottomans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it probably was. I was thinking it could have been like Eastern Roman Empire still.
Byzantines?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think it was Byzantines, now that I'm thinking about it, but I could be wrong.
No, because he wasn't...
Because Ezio, it was like...
He came from Italy, though.
Yeah.
That was like...
It was probably Italy after the fall of the Roman Empire, but the Eastern Roman Empire was around much longer than that.
Maybe. We'll have to look at that.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure. I don't remember. Number 3, I have Assassin's Creed 3. I have this above Revelations only because I enjoyed the time period a whole lot better, being in like the American Revolution. I also think that this was the first Assassin's Creed where they really started to fine-tune the climbing and the running mechanics. This game was so much like just maneuvering around the map was so much more fluid in this game than it ever was before.
Don't forget the online.
What was online on AC3?
The online multiplayer?
I don't think they had that on AC3.
Yeah, they did.
They had it in 2 and they had it in Revelations.
Yeah, they had it in 3.
They had it in Brotherhood and 2 Brotherhood and Revelations. No,
Yeah,
Brotherhood and Revelations.
Because that's the only time I ever played Assassin's Creed online.
That's weird because I don't remember it being... Where were the maps?
It was all of us. We all played that.
What were the maps? Because the only multiplayer I can remember playing was like Italy and Turkey. The maps were all like...
We played 3 for sure. Look it up.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah, because I remember we were like, there was a docking one where like it's right next to like a bunch of docks, and then like you walk around.
I don't remember it having multiplayer at all. But I just really enjoyed the revolutionary period with like, and then like this game did start to get a little bit weird as well because you had like there were like all these alternate history things with like Benedict Arnold and like George Washington becomes evil with the Apple of Eden. And you had all the like hallucination scenes with the, not like peyote, but like, it was something.
Peyote.
It was something. There were like 3 or 4 different missions where you like summoned a spirit animal and had to like do this whole thing. Assassin's Creed 3 multiplayer. Bum ba dum. I haven't got to it yet. It doesn't say. It does say single player and multiplayer. But was it like PvP or was it PvE?
Yeah, it's like the one that because you
I
guys
don't remember it. I don't remember that being in AC3.
because you and Josh were all hyped up on it, and then I was like, oh, dude, I want to get on this, and then like we played.
All right,
like,
sure. I mean, you're right. That's what it says.
Where we had the one where each person had like someone chasing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Or it's like you had a target and you were the target of someone else.
I never played Revelations or Brotherhood, so.
Okay, I guess that's true. Yeah, so that's why I have number 3 at 3. And I guess and the multiplayer in Revelations too. Well, I'll talk about it in Assassin's Creed 2. So number 2 is Assassin's Creed 2 for me. This was, I think, it was a huge step from the first Assassin's Creed, just as far as the mechanics of the game, the double assassination, how much more fluid the sneaking and assassinating was compared to the first one. Ezio, as I said, was like the best of the.
Was this in Florence or Milan? Florence, right?
Florence was one of the cities.
Milan,
Milan could have been another one.
You went to different cities.
There were like 4 or 5 of them. There were like different places that you could go.
I forgot about that. It's like Dying Light.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. AC2, I'm also someone who's always really enjoyed the modern, like, Desmond Miles story. And so, like, AC2, when you, like, kill the Pope at the end, and then, like, Juno, you end up, like, talking to Juno or whatever, and you have the Apple of Eden. And I think it's the end of AC2 where you kill Lucy. They all kind of are, like, blurring together to me now.
I don't remember any of these games at the end. I just remember just getting mind-effed at the end.
So, like, you're holding the Apple of Eden, and, like, Juno is, like, talking to you and, like, controls you, and you, like, turn and you kill Lucy.
Okay.
And you're, like, there with the 2 other people that, like, run around with you or whatever, and, like, there's, like, nothing you can do about it or whatever, and, like, you're forced to kill her. But AC2 was, like, what set off. It was, like, obviously the, like, first of the 3 Ezio games, and which is, like, the best peak period of Assassin's Creed that there is. Or is the Ezio trilogy, and that takes me to number 1 on the list, which is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And this was just like everything that you could ever want in an Assassin's Creed game.
Is it the final one of Ezio or the second?
The Brotherhood is the second one.
Okay.
Revelations is the third one.
Okay.
Revelations, spoiler, like, you haven't played it, but like, spoiler for Revelations, Ezio dies at the end.
Oh yeah, I know.
Okay, just so you know.
I knew that
one. So in Brotherhood, this was just like, this was perfect. This was, again, another refinement of the combat mechanics and all of that, tied in with, you had like, you were able to create like a faction of assassins. So you could recruit people and make this like team, and you could send them off and do missions for you. And so like that was a way of earning income and like leveling them up. And then while you're walking around the city, like, so say like I'm Ezio, I'm like hiding or whatever, I'm trying to infiltrate this place, and like you're a guard, I could hit the left bumper, and like one of the people that I trained will like either kill you with a crossbow or like jump down and run to like distract you and run away. Like you had all these different abilities where you could like you had like other people in the city that were helping you, that you were training as assassins. You became basically like Altair in that you were like the head of an assassin's like group.
Yeah.
And that made the game like just that much better. It was like just really perfect, and I really enjoyed it. And it like, that's when the story with the whole like all the gods and the precursor race and like all these things, and like you find out that there are multiple apples of Eden, and it just like, it hit the next level.
It was like, oh my god, this is like the best dose of LSD ever.
It is a little bit trippy at times. That's true. But yeah, so that is the definitive list of Assassin's Creed.
Definitive list, ladies and gentlemen. Can you knock this man's list down? Let us know in the comments down below. Let us know what your list is as well, and let us know what your favorite Assassin's Creed game is in the comments down below.
Yep.
But yes, let's keep moving, young man, and talk about some baseball. So at the moment,
an old man sport.
Yes, at the moment, the MLB playoffs are going on. As of today, everyone but the Red Sox have gone through, or they're through the Yankees and Red Sox game. I don't know what's going to happen between those two teams. Obviously, if the Yankees win, that goes to Game 5. Right. But everyone else is clinched, so Dodgers are going to play the Brewers.
Everyone else swept. Oh no, Braves got one.
Yeah,
Braves got
Braves
one.
got one.
Yeah, you're right.
Dodgers are going to play the Brewers, and then on the other side, the Astros are waiting for the result of whatever the
Yankees, Red Sox,
and the Red Sox happens.
Yep.
But this kind of topic has been brewing in Jacob's mind because of the end of the every sport usually has an end of the year awards. And for baseball, there's a couple awards. So there's like the best player, which is the MVP for each league or division, or no league.
League,
right? League.
League.
So it's AL and NL, and then they also have an AL NL Cy Young, which is the best pitcher, and then they have an AL NL Rookie of the Year, so the best basically first year player in his major league debut or debut season.
Yeah.
Is that the only one? Is that all we're doing, or is
there is one more? They named them both after Mariano Rivera and Trevor Hoffman. So like in each league, there's like the Mariano Rivera Award, which is like best bullpen pitcher, and then Trevor Hoffman Award is the best National League bullpen pitcher.
Nice. So it's the best closer, basically.
Not necessarily, but most of the time it ends up being closer. Yeah. So like Edwin Diaz, for example, is like gonna be the one from the Seattle Mariners because like. I don't think he ended up breaking the single season saves record, but like he came pretty close. So like he had like an excellent season, and then like in the NL, it'll probably be Josh Hader for the Brewers.
Yeah. All right. So which one do you want to do first?
Let's start with the Rookie of the Year. Those are like the lowest tier one anyway.
Okay.
So let's start in the American League. So I think there are really three people. Well, personally, I think there are only two, but statistically speaking, there are three people who could win this award. Miguel Andujar from the Yankees. 297 batting average, 328 on base, 527 slugging, 855 OPS, 27 home runs, 92 RBIs. Gleyber Torres, 271 average, a little bit better on base percentage, but worse slugging, 24 home runs, 77 RBIs. And Shohei Ohtani, which is
Showtime.
Not really, I guess, that controversial, especially with like only because of like how good of an end of the season that he had. But obviously, like both a pitcher and a batter. So at the plate, he hit 285, 22 home runs, 61 RBIs. He also had a 925 OPS, which is a full 70 points above Andujar. And then on the mound, he was 4-2, 3.31 ERA, 116 WHIP. But he had 11 Ks per 9, which is strikeouts per 9 innings pitch, which is, so like, for example, the list of people that I have on the AL Cy Young, that is higher than two of the four people that are on this. So like he's an incredible pitcher as well, is all I have to say. So who do you have as your AL Rookie of the Year?
Well, I think because of the other two guys, Miguel and Gleyber Torres. Because I'm not gonna say Miguel's last name again because I can't. I already forgot how to say his last name. Andujar. There you go. I think either of them will probably win it just because of them playing a full season. I think Ohtani is the better player than both of them because what Ohtani's done in the shorter amount of time than they have. I think they both like have over like 200 plate appearances over him, but he's still
probably what the stat that I did write down for that was games played. So Andujar has 140 games, Gleyber Torres 127, and Ohtani only played 104.
Yeah, so he played way less games, and he has. If he would have played a full season, he probably would have had more home runs than they. And he didn't pitch at the end of the season, at all.
Because he needs Tommy John surgery. Yeah. He had Tommy John surgery last week.
Yeah. So, with that said, if he was able to get the full at bats in the beginning of the year, I think he would have out hit them.
Yeah. Well, even
he would increase those numbers to where.
Yeah, for sure.
It would have really shown like a full season him at bat. But he's a pitcher too as well, and that stat you showed with the 11 strikeouts per 9 innings, it's that shows another thing as well. Because I was reading a couple articles before this about how yes he hasn't played those games, but he's also pitching, so those stats should show too. I think Ohtani should win, but I don't think he's probably gonna win just because of that. Probably because he didn't play enough games.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think Ohtani should win just based on he played 36 games less than Andujar, but Ohtani has a 3.9 WAR, which is wins above replacement. Andujar only has a 2.2, so He was like involved much fewer times than Andujar, but had a much bigger impact over the course of the season. And yeah, while I don't think he was greatly successful on the mound, especially with the arm problems that he ended up having, he's definitely the best hitter. I mean, 22 home runs in significantly fewer plate appearances, and even if he had been healthy the whole year, well, we would have had a bigger sample size for pitching. First off, but
2 of those losses he was like basically hurt for.
Right.
Too.
Yeah. So like we would have seen a bigger sample size for his pitching, but like he would have crushed it on the offensive numbers compared to both of these guys. But I do think that Andujar is going to end up being the one winning. I think Gleyber Torres, if it were not for Miguel Andujar, it would be Gleyber Torres. But just like he's not even the best rookie on his own team, which is kind of hard to believe. But
yeah.
So yeah, I do think that it'll go to Andujar this year.
Yeah.
So let's jump to the National League.
National League.
I have 4 people written down here. I'm actually going to skip one of them because I'm sorry, Harrison Bader and St. Louis Cardinals fans, but it's not going to happen. So we're just going to skip over that for the sake of time. So I have 3 people left on this list. The first one is Ronald Acuna Jr. For the Atlanta Braves. He had a 4.1 WAR this year, bat 291, 366 on base percentage, 916 OPS, 16 stolen bases, 26 home runs, 64 RBIs. Second person is Juan Soto from the Washington Nationals, 3.0 WAR, 292 average, so basically the same, 325 OPS, so a little bit better offensive production. He had a 40-point higher on base percentage at 406, 22 home runs for Soto, 70 RBIs. And the last one is actually a pitcher that I have on here, is Walker Buehler from the Los Angeles Dodgers. He had a 3.5 WAR. He had an 8.5 ERA, 2.62 ERA, 0.96 WHIP, so he's averaging less than 1 base runner an inning, basically. And he had just shy of 10 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. So a really good strikeout rate, especially for a rookie. So yeah, of those 3, who do you have as your NL Rookie of the Year?
Well, I think Acuna is going to win. But I would want Walker Buehler. Same thing with Ohtani thing. Like I would want him, but I think just the way they're probably going to vote is probably going to give it Acuna. I think Acuna had a solid year. I think the first year, like that's pretty impressive, like to what he's done. In my eyes, I think Buehler kind of like, I don't know if anyone would, or if I sound like an idiot, but I feel like he's probably one of the guys that saved the Dodgers season by pitching that well.
And he was pitching well. Sorry to jump in on you, but he was pitching well when Kershaw was out with like back problems. So like it was a really, really important time. Yeah,
he was basically like more valuable, and like this is probably going to our AL MVP talk as well. I think he was more not just valuable on his team, but I think that kind of like shows in the why. I think he should win it, but he's probably not going to. Acuna, I think with him out of the lineup, we saw in the beginning of the year the Braves were fine. So like that's what I look at it too. Like how really valuable is he to the team? So, but I think he had a great year. I would have wanted to been that guy in Great American Ballpark who caught his home run and just took off after.
Yeah. So I definitely agree with you about Walker Buehler. I think he had an incredible season. And he was like Ohtani, not really although he was injured a couple times this year, but like he was also, I think he ended up back in the minors also for like a little bit, like late on into the year. In fact, I don't even think he's on. It's either him or Ross Stripling that like didn't even make their postseason roster. I don't remember which one of them it is. Now that I'm blanking.
Buehler pitched the game.
He pitched the wild card game, right?
So he hasn't pitched the series at all?
I don't think so.
We'll
was
see. So they must have. We'll
it was Hyunjin Ryu and then Kershaw, and then Ross Stripling.
Okay.
And then maybe back to the top now. I'm not sure how many people are running in their rotation. Probably like Rich Hill tonight, maybe, or something like that.
Maybe he might not. Okay, we'll see.
I think I don't think a pitcher's going to win it. So for me, Walker Buehler's out. Between Acuna Jr. and Soto, they basically have the same batting average, very similar OPS, very similar power and RBI numbers. I think what's going to give, in my opinion, Ronald Acuna Jr. the edge is one, the run that he had where like he almost set the record for like consecutive games with a home run. And then like I forget the name of the guy that like plunked him in the beginning of the game so that he couldn't or no, it wasn't just games with the home run, it was games with the leadoff home run, I think. And then like his first at bat of like the next game where he was like gonna set the record, the guy hit him so that he didn't get the record or whatever. So like I think that like he had a lot of weeks like that where he was just on fire, and the fact that the Braves made the playoffs and the Nationals like imploded, I think is going to give him the edge. Even though these are, in my opinion, these are individual awards, and the team performance shouldn't matter, but I think that is going to give him the edge in the votes is the fact that the Braves made the playoffs. So let's move on to American League Cy Young. Moving up the ladder here.
Cy Young. Who won the?
I have 4 people
on
this list. Most people probably only have 3. I have one that's going to be
controversial.
Just like for consideration that like no one's going to agree with me, but he should be considered. Okay, here we go. Number 1 is Chris Sale from the Boston Red Sox. 6.9 WAR, 12-4 win-loss record, although I don't really care about win-loss record.
Red Sox.
2.11 ERA, 0.86 WHIP, 13.5 strikeouts per 9 inning, K-ing people just left and right. Blake Snell, also in the AL East with the Tampa Bay Rays. 7.5 WAR, 21-5 record, 1.89 ERA, 0.97 WHIP, 11 Ks per 9. Justin Verlander, Houston Astros, 6.3 WAR, 16-9, 2.52 ERA, so the highest of the 3, 0.9 WHIP, 12.2 Ks per 9, and also a very good strikeout to walk ratio, 7.84, almost 300 strikeouts as well, 290 total. The 4th person that I have on this list is actually a reliever. Blake Trinan from the Oakland A's. He had 68 appearances this year, 4.3 WAR, which obviously he doesn't have as much opportunity to impact the game. So like having that high of a WAR just coming out of the bullpen is really good. 9-2, 0.78 ERA on the whole year coming out of the bullpen.
Did he throw the ball?
With a 0.83 WHIP. He had 38 saves. He pitched 80 1/3 innings pitched, and he had an 11.2 strikeout to walk ratio. So he had 11.2 strikeout per 9 inning ratio. So he had a better K per 9 than Blake Snell, and Blake Snell was 21-5 as a starter. So those are my 4. Who do you think should be the AL Cy Young?
See, like I'm like the opposite in a sense. Like when you say, "Oh, these are individual awards," but like I think also you got to look at like their impact on like how important they are, and it's I wouldn't give it to Snell just because he plays for the Tampa Bay Rays.
So Snell is eliminated. See, well, why should Blake Snell be eliminated because of his team?
Well, no, because it's like it's not that it's his team, but it's just like I asked you like, how many of those wins are from the Orioles or the Blue Jays?
Sure, that's true.
And I think Verlander, I don't even know, dude. I can't come up with one because like whatever I say is it wouldn't be right. I think everyone is gonna some of them is like either Sale or Snell is gonna be one, but like you can make a case for the other 2 guys as well. So I can't really. I'm not gonna pick one.
In my heart, I want Blake Trinan to win this award. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
but he had one of the best seasons out of the bullpen that anyone has ever had, and that deserves to be recognized. I'm sure. I don't know. I think that Edwin Diaz is going to win the Mariano Rivera Award, so I don't even know that he's going to end up this year with like any rewards.
Dust.
But I think he deserves consideration. But being a reliever, he's not going to get it. Justin Verlander for me had a great year, but while he thrives in the postseason and is thriving in the postseason, I mean he like completely shut down the Indians. And that game was Kluber versus Verlander too. Like that, he just completely destroyed them. But I think Sale and Snell both had better years than he did. the reason I'm going to go with Blake Snell as my pick is because he is just flat out the best pitcher in the American League. I know that the Red Sox like won 100 and whatever games, 110 plus games this year. Chris Sale pitched well at times. Basically, he pitched very well up until like he got injured in August, and like then he had like one or two okay starts in September. He always seems to kind of fall off at the very end of the year. But Blake Snell pitching on the Rays, who surprised this year. I mean, did the Rays finish over 500?
Probably.
I don't remember. They came pretty close.
I would seem like they didn't, because like both the top two teams got.
Because I think the Rays were the last team that were out of the wild card.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think so. I think they even passed the Mariners before the end of the year.
Damn.
I could be wrong there, but they got close. They definitely probably overperformed. But Blake Snell being 21-5 on the Tampa Bay Rays, a sub-2 ERA, sub-1 WHIP. His only improvement could be in like strikeouts to walk ratio of 3.45. It's like literally half of Sales and like less than half of Verlander's. But I just think that Snell had the best year of all the pitchers that are available.
Okay. I'm not gonna.
And he also had the highest WAR, so the stats support that he was the most valuable as far as like if you were to replace him with a league average pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you ready? And I'll Cy Young.
NL Cy Young.
3 names on this list. 2 people 100% deserve it. 1 person probably actually deserves it as well. Number 1, these aren't in any particular order. These are just the order that I looked at their stats, I guess. Jacob deGrom, New York Mets. 10-9 record, which is why record doesn't mean crap, because the Rays couldn't score any. Or sorry, not the Rays. The Mets couldn't score any runs when he was pitching for whatever reason.
Well, plus they have players that are like our parents' age on there too. So,
I mean, that is also true. But David Wright's retiring, so that'll get a little bit better. 1.7 ERA, 0.9 WHIP, 269 strikeouts, 11.2 strikeouts per 9, 5.85 strikeouts to walk ratio. Excellent. One of the best, like, ignoring his record, 100%, literally one of the best pitching years that there has been in a while. Aaron Nola for the Philadelphia Phillies, 17-6, 2.37 ERA, 0.98 WHIP, less strikeouts, sub 10 K per 9, and again, he struggled with the strikeout to walk ratio, 3.86. And then the last guy is Max Scherzer, who I believe has won the last 2 NL Cy Young Awards.
Mm-hmm.
He's 18-7, 2.53 ERA, 0.91 WHIP, 300 strikeouts this year on the dot, and 12.2 strikeouts per 9. Who do you have as your NL Cy Young?
deGrom.
Good. You made the right choice.
Well, it's not that I made the right choice.
No, you made the right choice.
He's the most entertaining pitcher to watch in the major leagues, I feel. For me.
Sure.
Whenever I can watch a Mets game, I'm like, is deGrom
How often do
pitching?
you watch a Mets game?
Oh, I was paying attention to him when he was playing.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. If I ever get a chance to, because the ESPN app has like those once a week games.
Yeah.
But sometimes the national broadcast ones, like when they play the Yankees, the series in like July, I think, or maybe June, I watched that pitching. That was a great pitching duel. Or not pitching. It was like the Yankees lineup versus him, basically. I think they ended up losing that game, but it was like entertaining.
They probably did, because he was only 10-9.
Yeah, because it was only like 1-2 or something like that. And I think Severino was the other opposing pitcher. But like watching him go against like Aaron Judge and them, it was just like it was entertaining. It just, for me, it was, because like it's like playing chess in the baseball format. And sorry Nola and sorry Scherzer. I don't really like Scherzer because I don't like his face as much.
Because you don't like his face?
Yeah, he's kind of annoying. His face is kind of annoying. I'm sorry. I just don't. My beanie fell off. I can't find it. But I mean, like, it's not like Scherzer. You have 2 of them. But like DeGrom, DeGrom has earned it though. I think he'd be the first person, I think, to win the award with this kind of ratio, right?
Win-loss ratio?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, that's what I read. So I was like, that's kind of interesting and kind of be unprecedented about that. But yeah, I don't. It's kind of weird because none of these 3 players also didn't make the playoffs, which kind of sucks. So that would have been cool to see these guys in the playoffs too.
It's
But
true.
it's
Both the
unfortunate.
Phillies and the Nationals both like just crumbled in the last
Yeah.
like month and a half of the year, and the
Mm.
Mets were out of it pretty early.
Mm.
I would go with Jacob deGrom, obviously, just because like there's really not a lot that needs to be said. He straight up had one of the best pitching seasons that I can remember off the top of my head,
Yeah,
like in my lifetime.
you can even look at his stats to like the year he came up with, and then you can compare his stats to Kershaw, and they're very similar too.
Yeah, and he's like 1.7 ERA, pitching as many innings as he did. Like the dude is literally almost unhittable for an entire season.
The Angels should get him.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure. So that's gonna happen. All right, so let's get to the big ones. We have. What did I do with it? Did I not make it?
Yeah, because Kershaw's Kershaw's a
page.
Hall of Famer, and like some of his stats, he just doesn't. DeGrom doesn't have like the Cy Youngs to back it up. That's the problem. But this is gonna be a first one, right?
For DeGrom?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was either. I feel like for some reason I feel like Syndergaard had one in there, but like
I feel like
so maybe it was Scherzer, Syndergaard, Scherzer.
maybe.
I don't know. I don't remember.
He didn't show up this season at all.
Well, he played on a trash team again.
What I'm saying.
AL MVP. There are 3 people on my list, but I truly believe that there are actually only 2 people going for this award. So, Cleveland Indian fans, Jose Ramirez had a good year. I mean, 39 home runs, 105 RBIs, 34 stolen bases. Incredible season. One of the best third basemen probably third baseman. Him and Nolan Arenado, probably best third baseman that are in the league right now.
It's unfortunate he plays for the Indians.
Really? I mean, why?
It'd be
They're a
cool if he
playoff team.
played
Like, don't say the Yankees.
the Yankees. I'm not a Yankees fan either. Or like just like a.
But for me,
it's central. Just
Ramirez is eliminated both because Trout and Mookie Betts had incredible seasons, but also that I'm kind of a batting average guy, and like only being a 270 batting average hurts him a little bit. So 2 people left for the AL MVP.
Get it.
Let's start with Mike Trout, the hometown Anaheim Angels, not the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. No one wants that.
I heard he's a really nice gentleman.
From who?
People.
Dust. Okay. He's an Eagles fan. He's from Jersey.
Makes no sense. But okay.
Well, they don't have an NFL team in Jersey. I mean, they have New York teams that play in Jersey. But
Exactly.
Okay.
This is why.
Mike Trout, 312 batting average, 460 on base percentage, which was the league leader, not just American League, like league leader in general. 628 slugging, and a 1,088 OPS, which is also leading the league. 39 home runs, 79 RBIs, 24 stolen bases, 10.2 WAR.
39.
39 home runs.
Duh, so he almost got 40.
He
How many did
almost
Martinez hit?
Martinez? I didn't look him up. Probably like mid 40s, 43-ish, 44.
A lot of.
Mookie Betts. This is another reason. Also, I guess I don't have. You reminded me. I don't have JD Martinez on this list because he's not even the best player on his team. So get out.
Oh yeah, that's true. This is true.
Mookie Betts, 346, which was leading the league batting average, 438 on base percentage, 640 slugging percentage, which led the league, and 1,078 OPS, 32 home runs, 80 RBIs, 30 stolen bases, 10.9 WAR. So between really just those 2, who do you have as your AL MVP?
I want to say Mike Trout.
Good answer.
Well, it's not. I mean, the answer is really easy. You just look at the Red Sox lineup and you look at the Angels lineup, and how Mike Trout is able to do that with the Angels lineup like that, and to what the protection that Mookie Betts gets around him. I mean, you can say, "Oh yeah, look at his stats." So like, yeah, but who's hitting around him? Yeah, JD Martinez. I don't know. I forgot to say
Andrew Benintendi.
Yeah, Benintendi.
Yeah.
It's like Mike Trout has Justin Upton and Albert Pujols. Like, come on. Simmons had a decent year this year.
Yeah, he did.
So I mean,
that's the first half of Mike Trout's season had Cole Calhoun also that was batting like 130.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's
Ian Kinsler was batting below 200.
There's no support there, like for me, and to get those numbers out of that, it's like that's absurd.
Yeah,
and then we were even looking at it. It's like the Angel Stadium, like dimensions of like their field, like it's not incredibly hard to hit a home run, but it's pretty difficult. And I'm not sure how many of those 39 were in there.
I would say that it's probably harder for a right-handed batter to hit home runs at Fenway than it is at Angel Stadium.
Okay.
Because like yes, the green monster is closer.
Yeah, but most of his home
Well, I
runs were
get it.
dead center or left field for Trout.
Well, yeah, but that's my point. Like
Yeah.
half of Mookie Betts's games were at Fenway, and like he has to hit him either over the monster or like 420 to dead center. Because in center field, it's like I think 408 to the wall, but the wall is like 15 feet high.
We should probably look up the home runs where the difference were.
Maybe we should.
I would feel like he probably hit more home runs not at Fenway.
Betts hit more home runs at Fenway?
He probably hit more outside of Fenway.
Oh. I don't know. I mean, that'd be interesting to look up, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, obviously, I have a bias here.
Well, it's not a bias. It's just fact. You just look at the goddamn lineups, man.
I know. Mike Trout this season had the best, the worst batting average of people hitting in front of him. So, like, be it Ian Kinsler or Cole Calhoun or who else hit leadoff? I guess Simmons hit leadoff a little bit this year, but that wasn't until, like, the end of the year.
No, he hit leadoff before he took a wrong step down the stairs.
Yeah, but that was still, like, there was only, like, a month left in the season, I think, or so. Maybe 6 weeks.
No, when he did it to his
When
ankle?
that happened? Yeah.
No, it wasn't. That was, like, earlier in the year.
Was it really?
Yeah, when he did that.
Anyway.
Like, he hit, like, a leadoff for, like, that week and then, like, was like, not anymore. I'll see you later.
So basically, Mike Trout had no one ever on base in front of him. The only reason his RBI total is so low, like he has 39 home runs and only 79 RBI. So like he hit a ton of solo shots because no one was ever getting on base in front of him. Be it like the leadoff batters, like first or second batter. Well, he hit second a lot, but like sometimes he hit third. So the first or second batter in front of him for the Angels lineup, or like 7, 8, 9, 1, like coming back through the order. No one was ever on base for him. So the fact that he was able to put up these offensive statistics, although I do think that his on base percentage and his OPS are inflated because he was the only like major batter in the Angels lineups. Like he was walked like we went to a game, I think it was against the Orioles, where we sat out in right field, and like they intentionally walked him 4 times in that game. So like obviously his just to like get around him and like pitch to Poulos and pitch to Justin Upton and people like that behind him in the lineup.
I mean, we were just going for the Angel game. We also won because we wanted to see Manny Machado, or I wanted to see Manny Machado. But yeah,
that was before. Yeah, that would have been before Machado got traded.
That was a terrible game.
But I just think that like Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, like if you
switch those 2 players on each team, Mookie Betts ain't hitting that for dick.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's
Mike Trout.
That's what it comes down
Mike
to.
Trout will probably have probably double all those numbers.
But 346 batting average. I mean, shout out to Mookie Betts. This will be if Mike Trout wins it, this will be the second time that Mike Trout like edges Mookie Betts for the MVP award. It happened 2 years ago in 2016. So like I think it should be Mike Trout. I think it's going to be Mookie Betts this year, only because like you joked about like, oh, Scherzer already has to like give one to DeGrom. I think that like Trout already has to give one to Mookie Betts. Okay. I think that's kind of what's gonna happen.
But what was my original lineup or my thing I was said about what I was gonna bring from the NL, or I forgot. Never mind. Yeah, screw it.
NL MVP.
I know. Liz is wide open.
There are a lot of people that are up for this. I have 6 names actually written down here. We're gonna run through this really quickly. I know this has been like a ridiculously long episode.
We're looking at stats as well. We're backing this up with facts.
Numero uno is Nolan Arenado, third baseman for the Colorado Rockies. 297 batting average, 374 on base, 935 OPS, 38 home runs, 110 RBIs. Everyone likes to throw in the things like, oh well, he plays in Colorado.
What plays in Colorado?
There's thin air in Colorado.
Well, there's thin air in Yankee Stadium too.
Well, that too, but I mean, like they make the stadium in Colorado is bigger. They compensate for the fact that the ball travels farther. In any case,
they made this stadium smaller in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, that thing's a matchbox. Matt Carpenter from the St. Louis Cardinals, 257 batting average, but the same 374 on base percentage as Arenado because he got walked a whole bunch. 36 home runs, 81 RBIs, 4.9 WAR for Matt Carpenter. Javi Baez from the Chicago Cubs, Shortstop for the Chicago Cubs. 290 batting average, 326 on base, so like not walking a lot. He is a guy that's like self-described like free swinger, like he just goes up and rips at the ball. He's
it Ecuadorian or Venezuelan?
I think he's Venezuelan.
Okay.
881 OPS, 34 home runs, 111 RBIs, 6.3 WAR. You had listed in the vote, which is why I put this guy on here, Lorenzo Cain, that like he was up there.
No, I was reading an article that had Lorenzo Cain in it.
Well, I guess I didn't try to verify these stats of the 10 home runs, 38 RBIs. I kind of find that hard to believe. But that's what it said. I got all these stats from Baseball Reference, and that's the numbers that they had there.
I feel like that's like his stat from like the first third of the year or something like that.
I'm not sure what happened there. 308 batting average, though, and an 813 OPS with a 6.9 WAR. He has the highest WAR of any of these people on this list. The first baseman for the Atlanta Braves is our fifth person.
Sorry.
Freddie Freeman, first baseman for the Braves. 309 batting average, 338 on base, 892 OPS, 23 home runs, 98 RBIs, 6.1 WAR. And last but not least is Paul Goldschmidt, 290 batting average, 922 OPS, 33 home runs, 83 RBIs, 5.4 WAR. First baseman for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Do those stats like line up? Is that what it says elsewhere?
Yeah, that's what I have right here.
10 home runs, 38 RBIs. Wow. So like for me, that eliminates him. Like no like RBI production.
But
I guess. Although you know what? Who I don't have on here? We have the wrong Milwaukee Brewer on here. We don't have Christian Yelich.
Yeah, I was gonna say I forgot you didn't put Christian Yelich on there.
Yeah, I don't know why I skipped over him.
His brother's pretty chill. I thought he was gonna be a douchebag, but I had an English class with his brother. I forgot his brother's name. And then when he told me like, "Oh yeah, dude, my brother plays in the MLB," I was like, "What?" Yeah, he plays for the Marlins. I was like, "What are you talking about, dude? Shut up." And I looked it up. I was like, "Holy crap, this guy wasn't talking like he wasn't
This
BSing.
guy wasn't kidding." Let me look up Yelich's stats real quick. 7.6 WAR, so he would have a higher WAR than Lorenzo Cain. 326 batting average, 402 on base percentage, 538 slugging, 1,000 even OPS. He had 36 home runs and 110 RBIs. That actually makes this really easy for me. But you, go ahead. Who is your NL MVP?
I don't even know what you just said right now, honestly. Who are you gonna pick?
High batting average, lots of home runs, lots of RBIs. Christian Yelich, NL MVP.
I think a lot of people. I think the one in the articles, everyone basically picked him. I like Freddie Freeman just because he's cool. He looks nice.
I think for me,
he's a local boy.
My second would be Nolan Arenado. Even though he plays in Colorado, he's really put together an incredible year. Like big power numbers, big RBI numbers.
Dangerous.
And like him alongside of, well, that's maybe coming next year. Or like him alongside Trevor Story, like just like a totally wicked left-hand side of the infield.
The Angels should get him, and they should also get Lorenzo Cain.
That's not going to happen. So those are our picks for the major MLB awards.
Yeah, I would pick Yelich. Just the way he was like also on the books or almost there for a Triple Crown too.
Yeah, I think it was his last at bat of the regular season. Had he homered in that at bat, he would have got the Triple Crown.
Yeah, and then also it was a great move from him to go from Miami to
it was a great move for him to go anywhere but Miami.
Yeah, but like because at Miami it seemed like he wasn't gonna like pan out to be like a great player, just average. It seemed like for me.
Yeah, I guess.
And then like that great move, he just needed to be on a good team.
Yeah,
in a way to expand his horizons. But yeah, that's been our debate a little bit of a debate in there of who we have for the MLB year-end awards. Let us know in the comments down below. Let us know, haters, on Mike Trout not winning the AL MVP because he should win it. And Mookie Betts is trash. No, I'm just kidding.
Dang.
No, Mookie Betts. Hey, that dude's lit. Anyways, let us know in the comments down below to let us know, Boston Red Sox fans, and how much you love Mookie Betts. Let's keep moving, young man. We're going to take a stroll down some Pennsylvania Avenue. We're going to get to some history for this week of October 9th.
9th. I actually go through the 17th.
17th?
I jumped to Wednesday only because the reason why, I guess, is a little behind the scenes for you guys, but like just so it gives, like, if it takes us a day to upload, then like it's still current. Whereas if I go Tuesday to Tuesday and we don't upload till Wednesday, like it's old information. Some of it's old information already. That's what
I mean, it's already technically old in a way.
That's why. So like I'm gonna try to go Wednesday to Wednesday now.
Okay.
Even though we're recording on Tuesdays.
Yes, sir.
So yeah. So you ready? Are you ready?
Are you ready?
This week in history, October 9th.
October 9th.
1781 is where we start out.
1781.
The American Army, the Continental Army, begins shelling the British, who are surrounded at Yorktown. October 9th, 1781.
Our American History Tellers had the cool thing, but it's not really related too much. But just like a black soldier was there or something like that. That was really what it was. This wasn't too like historic in a way. But I mean, like it was, but still not. Like it was a cool story on how that all happened. But yeah. Anyways, I'm stupid.
Okay.
2 cents that don't belong in that.
October 9th, 1888, the Washington Monument, which was designed by Robert Mills, opens to the public.
1888.
1888.
Dang, that thing is old.
Yeah, it actually like should be older because it was. I don't remember the exact date or whatever when it actually started, but I think it started in the 1850s.
Damn.
And they stopped building it during the Civil War. They stopped construction. So like if you go there and you look at it, it's actually like 2 different colors. The like bottom third of it is a different color than the rest of it.
That makes sense.
Because the bottom third of it is older by like 30 years.
Damn.
So yeah. So they stopped, and then like they didn't have the money to like continue for like a while. So like they didn't start building it again until like the late 70s, I think, 1870s.
Yeah, that I remember going up the elevator in Fallout 3. It was the best.
Where else my spot? October 9th, 1949, Harvard Law School admits its first woman into the student body. And 1 year later, October 9th, 1950, the UN forces in Korea cross over the 30th parallel into North Korea, like pushing back the North Koreans.
I believe I have dyslexia, and I always thought it was the 48th parallel, but it's the 38th.
I mean, at least it's not the 83rd parallel. Because, like, you normally switch, like, letters and numbers around, whatever.
No, I just put a 4 there for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay,
I think maybe because of Heartbreak Ridge or something like that, and, like, I get, like, a 4 in there for some reason. I don't know.
I don't know, bro.
The only reason why I know about that war is because of Heartbreak Ridge. Thank you, Clint Eastwood.
October 10th.
Not even going to acknowledge that.
No, moving on. 1731. Oh, man, I meant to look up how this happened, and I totally forgot. Henry Cavendish was a physicist, and he is the one who discovered the mass and the density of the Earth.
What?
And this was in 1731, and I totally meant to look up like how he actually calculated that, because it's just like I'm like just sitting here right now. I was like, wonder what the Earth weighs. Let me go calculate that.
You know how he probably did it, and this is my alternate history of doing it.
Okay.
He probably farted, and then like was like put it in a glass jar and just
What?
measured it, and that's how he came up with it. Yep, that's how he did it.
Sure. Okay.
That's how he did it.
There you go. Great job, Henry Cavendish.
I was
Cavendish.
Cavendish. Good job farting over there.
October 10th, 1845, the U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis is founded.
1885?
1845.
45. I thought it was old. Oh, no, it's the Navy.
West Point is the one that's like
Yeah,
super
so
old.
yeah.
October 11th, 1862, the Confederate Congress in Richmond actually like makes it so that anyone who owns 20 or more slaves is exempt from military service. They pass a law that like basically anyone who owns a plantation or whatever is not required to serve in the Confederate Army. So it kind of set up this like rift in the South where it was like a rich man's war but a poor man's fight.
Yeah. Because they had to have a draft for them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have enough men.
October 11th, 1884. Did I actually say the wrong date there? It was 1862 was the Confederate Congress thing.
Yeah.
If I messed that up, I don't know. October 11th, 1884 is the birthday of Eleanor Roosevelt.
She's old.
Yep.
Yeah, I think FDR is actually younger than her. A little bit.
It's probably close, but maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
October 11th, 17. Sorry, man. Your dyslexia is contagious. Apparently today I can't read.
Sorry.
October 11th, 1975. Was the very first night for Saturday Night Live.
Oh.
Live from New York.
It's live
Saturday night.
from New York. It's Saturday night.
October 12th.
Blues Brothers. Sorry.
1492. What happened in 1492?
Columbus sailed the blue or the big.
The ocean blue.
The
But close
ocean
enough.
blue.
That was good. Good job. Columbus landed in the Bahamas. He found the new world.
I love because I have a bunch of. I'm Native American, and my mom is like. She had this post. I don't know if you saw it yesterday.
I saw
on
it.
Facebook.
I know what you're
was just
talking
like, I was just gonna slap her
Yikes.
with just like facts and stuff. Someone put another post that I saw that was like pretty hilarious on like how important Christopher Columbus actually was, even though he was pretty important. It just like the things he did sucked. So
There was,
like,
I mean, yes, it was important. I think he is definitely responsible for some pretty terrible things.
yeah,
But at the same time, like the same people who a lot of times quote those sort of things also quote the like disease and such that killed a lot of people as like a total number that Columbus is responsible for. And
Yeah.
like there's no way that they could have known anything about how the science of like those diseases worked. Where
yeah.
like,
Or
they
even
would
that
have known that like
are
they were gonna
contagious
kill a
with it.
bunch of people just by showing up.
I mean, if they would have known about it, they'd be like, "Here, lick my hand real quick." But
Maybe, yeah.
let's be honest. Oh, but like even like the smallpox kind of like blanket thing is like stupid. It's like the dumbest thing ever. But my thing was like because like I'm Cherokee and like I live here, so am I occupying California then? You know, like people are like, "Oh, this is not my land. This is not your land," or whatever. Like, you know how like people got moved and whatnot.
Mhm.
I'm like, well then like should I leave this like California? You know what I mean? Because I'm technically also Mexican too, so I'm coming from Mexico. But obviously California used to be part of Mexico. But I'm just saying like, should I leave now to go back to Mexico because the native tribes that were here should have their land back? Like, so I have to leave too.
Get out.
I have to go back to Georgia.
Georgia.
But I don't know. That just like that all that argument of like it's in the past. I mean, like there's nothing we can do about it. You can't change anything. What are you gonna do? Like give line? I don't understand getting a line back. This is what's going on in South Africa. It's like they're killing people out there and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't make any sense. It's just like it's not a good argument anymore. In my eyes. I mean, I get what like they've done and it's terrible. Like I'm Cherokee. Like, I understand. I'm not like I don't have like a direct like knowledge of like the culture, like a real in depth like my family does back on the reservation. But I mean, I feel like there's nothing we can do. What are you gonna do? I'm not gonna tell you go back. I enjoy my company with you. It's like go back to England, Jacob.
Bye.
It's like, no, that's stupid. It's like, and then it's another thing too. Is like when I don't know. For me, it's like being American. It's like when everyone asks me like, what ethnicity are you? Like, I'm American. That's it. That's all I gotta do. Once we start just saying, oh, you're American, I'm like, I'm not Mexican American. I'm American. So, is that hard? You're American. Jones isn't black and half Hispanic or American. Like he's just American. Like why? I don't know why we can't just get to that point yet. I don't know. That's frustrating.
We could have a much more in-depth discussion about that.
Yeah.
Some of the time down the line, possibly.
I know. Sorry, that's a radio rant.
It's all good. It's all good. We're gonna make a huge time jump here by about 450 years.
We're going to add to the animus.
Yep, we are. Yeah. October 12th, 1944, the Axis occupation of Athens. Speaking of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Athens is ended. They pack up and leave. There were 40, roughly, it is estimated anyway, that 40,000 people starved to death during the Axis occupation.
Damn, the Greek script just messed up through these centuries, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then there are some, so like I guess this isn't really related, but we might as well go down this rabbit hole. When Greek had they still have, like when Greece has their like financial crisis that is kind of still going on, and they were like completely bankrupt or whatever, they tried to sue Germany for war reparations from like World War II. Yeah, they're like, give us this money because you like these people died or whatever.
I heard. I had that interview podcast and we were talking about aliens and stuff. And on Roswell, apparently there was like Greek writing on that, and it goes back to like some German. Somehow they linked it to some German guy that designed like these aircraft, and like he was one of the guys that went to Greece or something like that for some reason to get some kind of like. I don't know what it was. It wasn't a piece of technology. It was like a theory or something like that, and like to learn about it, and then took it back and then try to replicate it or something like that. And like that's why he had like the homage to like whoever originally did it was like that's why it's big Greek writing or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's connections.
October 13th in the year 54. Just straight 54. 54 AD. Nero is crowned the new emperor of Rome after his uncle was assassinated by his uncle's wife.
A lot of uncle killing.
Yep. October 13th, 1775, Continental Congress establishes the United States Navy. Actually, back then it was called the Continental Navy, but same like entity.
Mm-hmm.
And October 13th, 1792, George Washington lays the cornerstone for the White House in Washington, D.C. I think the last time we recorded one of these, we had like early October. It was like the anniversary of Washington laying the cornerstone of the Capitol building, or of like Congress.
I thought it was... No, never mind.
I think it was like Capitol.
No, I was thinking of something else that I read or listened to on a podcast. It was like Theodore Roosevelt laying along the ground for some kind of bridge in like Yellowstone or something like that. But yeah.
Okay. October 14th, 1066.
1066.
William of Normandy defeats King Harold in the Battle of Hastings, which is like the first major battle after William of Normandy like landed in England. Like that was like the first battle of his conquest of England.
Yeah, there's a book I want to read about this stuff. I forgot what it's called. I have it on my Amazon book list thing.
Okay.
But like this is like the period I want to get into because this is like I don't know dick about any of this stuff. But yeah,
it's true. It's kind of a blind spot for me. This and like in general the probably like 1200s to 1700s like royalty of like like England and Scotland and like the continent and stuff like that.
It's
like
a lot of family.
Yeah.
Effing.
It's like a huge blind spot for me in history. October 14th, 1644. William Penn is born, obviously very famous for founding the colony of Pennsylvania as the leader of the Quaker. Is it a denomination or like a... It's not its own religion, I don't think. I think it's just like a denomination of Christianity.
Like Mormons and like what's it called? Like Mormons, like a kind of like a similar thing, like that came in later.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
I wouldn't say it was as crazy as no Mormons, but like it came like way later to where like the guy started it.
Kind of,
in recent times.
Yeah. October 14th, 1806. Napoleon defeats the Prussian army in Jena, Germany, or what is now Jena, Germany, anyway. As like part of his conquest of Europe.
Yeah, I haven't got too deep. I've only gotten to the part to where he defeats the armies in northern Italy with Austria. I haven't got that far yet. Okay.
October 14th, 1890, Dwight Eisenhower is born. He's the 34th president. He ends up being the 34th president of the United States. He's also obviously very important United States general.
And a lieutenant
and one of the
World War I.
One of the I think there's only been 2 or 3 5-star generals since Dwight Eisenhower. So like I didn't really actually look this up. It came up. I was watching Jeopardy with my parents, and this came up that like so you only get to the rank of, there are no current 5-star generals because you only get to the rank of 5-star when you take over command of an allied army as well.
Ooh.
So like what Eisenhower became a 5-star general because he was in charge of the entire allies. Like he held rank over British and like French and like stuff, like he held rank over them.
That makes sense because they didn't know what they were doing anyways.
So like there was a few. It happened during Korea.
Yeah.
It happened once during Vietnam, and I think the last one was like in the 70s or 80s. And like there hasn't been a 5-star general since.
What about okay? So yeah, what about before that though?
Before that, yeah, there were 5-star generals.
Okay. Because like we didn't really have allies before like World War.
Well, there would have been allies in like World War I. Yeah.
I don't know who would have been the guy.
I don't know who
like,
the first one was, but
he's-
anyway, I didn't realize that's how it worked. I just assumed that it was just like the next rank in the U.S. military. But like there has to literally be like we won't have another one until if there ever really is another one, like major global conflict. Like there will have to be basically another world war before there will ever be another 5-star general, probably. Because you have to like be given command, and even then it might not even happen. But like you have to be given command over like not. It's like Eisenhower had all of the U.S. forces and the Allies. So like
and then he was the last president to be born in the 1800s to serve as a president.
Okay.
Yeah, because Nixon was like in like the early, like 19 something.
Okay.
Yeah, I think because like it went straight to Kennedy, and then but it went backwards with like Johnson,
Lyndon B. Johnson, then Nixon, then Ford.
I think Nixon and Kennedy are about the same age.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, because remember Nixon served as a vice VP.
Nixon and Kennedy can't be the same age because
around. I said around the same age. I know Nixon's
it's probably
older.
not even close. It's probably like 15 years. Because there was remember we had on here the televised debate between Kennedy and Nixon, who was vice president at the time.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing was that like Nixon like everyone saw him compared to JFK as like this really old man.
Cool, because he was sick too.
Yeah. Okay. But still, I think there's like a pretty good age difference between them.
Probably like no more than 10.
Look it up. October 14th, 1944, German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel dies. He actually ended up committing suicide. So basically he was implicated in a failed attempt to assassinate Hitler. And so Hitler sent like a couple henchmen over to his house, and he had the option of a public trial or suicide by poison, and he chose suicide and died. That was 84 years ago now. Oh, that was some really bad math, wasn't it? No, that's about right. October 14th, 1947, Chuck Yeager breaks the sound barrier in the Bell X-1 aircraft. First one to go faster than the speed of sound.
2 years.
2 years age difference? Lies.
Actually, I think Kennedy's younger. Or older.
Yeah, no way. There's literally no way.
John Fitzgerald Kennedy, born May 29th, 1917.
Okay.
Give me a sec. I don't know how to say his middle name, but Richard Nixon, January 9th. Oh, wait, actually, no. Never mind. So I thought it was 1918. My bad. It's 1913. Still only 4 years.
You're right. It is closer than I thought it was. You're right. Congratulations.
You're wrong this time, Jacob.
October 14th, 1962. The United States Air Force photographs Soviet-made missiles being installed in Cuba, kickstarting the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Cuba.
Where we were supposedly like this close to nuking them.
Bay of Pigs as well.
Yeah.
Fidel Castro's literally legit in the sense, like compared to like all those Central and South American, like whatever you want to call them, presidents or leaders or dictators, whatever. He was like the best one to, like, he was the hardest to kill or like to try to kill because that dude had a good system set up. Like good body doubles, good security, you know, like, hey, fool, tell me when the Americans are here. You know what I mean? Just kind of that kind of stuff.
Is that what he said? Is that how it went? Okay.
Yeah.
October 14th, 1964, Martin Luther King Jr. receives the Nobel Peace Prize for his work during the Civil Rights Movement.
Well deserved.
Yeah, for sure. October 15th, 1582, the Gregorian calendar is adopted, and they're actually the 10 days that precede this. So actually, I think it goes back to October 3rd, but it could be October 4th. So like October 3rd or 4th through October 13th of the year 1582 does not exist, because in order to reconcile the time difference, they had to cut a bunch of days. So like they just jump forward. So it goes, so like the calendar, if you were to go back, it goes from like October 2nd, 1582 to October 14th, 1582.
Yeah, I heard because that's the current calendar year thing.
It's a current system.
It's like the best one because of like the daylight savings time. Because like technically the days aren't technically the same. Like there's like you'll miss like 15 minutes like or something or like a minute or something like that each day, and that's why we go back. So it adds up to that. So it makes sense.
Well, that's why we have leap year.
Well, that too, yeah. That and then why we go to daylight savings time where we go back and forward and whatnot. So it's like when you look at the map, you're like, damn, dude, those guys are smart, man. Jeez, like I can barely count the 5, man. Jeez. Like these were like priests or whatever you want to call it, monks or whatever. Like, dude, bro, high five.
You did it. October 15th, 1783. I'm gonna totally butcher this name. Francois Pilatre de Rosière. I don't speak French. I totally just butchered that. But he completes the first manned flight in a hot air balloon. Or like first manned flight that's at least recorded in general, but like he did it in a hot air balloon. And his first flight, I think if I remember correctly when I read this, was at only 83 feet. But just like a few days after that, he hit 6,500 feet.
Damn,
so like
that dude's
like
crazy
way up there. So it's like more than a mile up in a hot air balloon.
I don't know if I would ever get into a hot air balloon, by the way.
Really?
Too sketchy.
I've never done it, but like you've never done the orange ball or whatever?
I was sketched out, dog.
Okay.
I was waiting for someone to shoot that ball thing and shoot it down.
Even though it was a good run.
No, I mean it wouldn't deflate like that fast. We would probably get down.
Oh yeah,
fine, but like
it's not gonna pop like.
If it did, I was like, oh great. Oh dude,
going down.
Yeah, I remember like when it kind of opened, and it was like a month after it opened or whatnot. My mom was like, "You want to go see this? We can go up in the air or whatnot." I was like, "I don't know, Mom. This sounds the way she described it is like, yeah, it's a big air jet because she works by there, obviously."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, we go. I'm like, we're getting in that thing. Like, oh my god, dude. You have health, or you have what's it called? What's the insurance when you die? Like you have life insurance, right, Mom? Yeah. I was like, God.
Where is it? I lost my spot. October 15th, 1878, Thomas Edison founds the Edison Electric Light Company. Kind of self-explanatory there.
I like how everyone hates him. He's like this, like, or not everyone hates him, but a lot of people like, he didn't create all those things. He stole them from other people. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I guess, sure. Same with like Steve Jobs. He like made things better or whatnot. Like that's what he did. Because like he had like a crew of guys that would like invent stuff with him, and then he was like the head of like all the whole group. And, like this is the way things worked.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, then shut up.
October 16th, 1701, in a huge stroke of irony, Yale University is founded in Connecticut, I believe. And it was founded because people at Harvard thought that Harvard was getting too liberal. So they went off and they formed their own university. And now they're just liberal together.
Dude, if you go to Yale, you can land a sick job in government, dude.
I'm pretty sure if you go to Harvard, you can land a sick job in government as well.
Yeah, but Yale has like some really weird, deep connections with the CIA and whatnot. It's like it's real sketch, dude. I'm like,
October 16th, 1793, Marie Antoinette is killed by guillotine in the French Revolution.
GG.
And Louis the 16th or whatever, it was his wife.
Yeah, she got kind of screwed in that.
Definitely.
Because she's from Austria actually.
Okay.
And
like, what are these French people doing?
Which number? Which number?
I think it was 16th.
16th. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I read a book on like describing this, but like how she was like trying to get her brother, because her brother was the king of Austria, I believe, and like how her and then her brother or her husband were like trying to get to the border so like the Austrian army could capture them and whatnot, and then the Austrian army would come in and clean shop. Yeah, but that didn't work out that way.
Didn't go so well. October 17th is our last day. 2 more points. October 17th, 1781 is when the British actually surrendered at Yorktown after the French like blockaded them in. And then Lord Cornwallis surrendered, but didn't want to like go through the shame of surrendering to Washington, so he like sent his other dude to do it. It's like that famous painting or whatever. It's like not him. It's like his lieutenant.
Yeah, because he was too embarrassed.
Yeah.
I think what's it called? After this, he got sent to like India.
Yeah, that was actually one of our history things. I think.
Yeah, and then I wish they would do like how they do the Pacific and Band of Brothers. I want them to do like one through like the Revolutionary War like this. I think it would be interesting, even though like such a long time ago, obviously, but there's enough stuff in records to come up with something like that. I mean, the Pacific is based off of two of the guys that they wrote books after. And I was like, I'm pretty sure someone wrote a book that would be
Probably.
interesting enough to that to be similar to this. It's not that like I want to see that, like, but it'd just be interesting to see like I want to hear the soldier stories. I don't care about George Washington's story as much because I've heard it so much. It's on like kind of on replay and like the bigger names and or bigger figures in that time. But like it'd be interesting to hear stories, soldiers, and even like Civil War. Maybe do one in Korea or something like that. I don't know. Just I would like if HBO would do some kind of series on like that, those kind of like stories, I guess.
Yeah. Our last point for the day. October 17th, 1933, Albert Einstein leaves Germany for the United States, fleeing the rising anti-Semitism that was going on there in Germany at the time and like the rise of Nazi Germany. So yeah, so he departed on a boat, I think, for the U.S.
Yeah, he's I think it was 16. He denounced his German citizenship. He did it twice.
Okay.
Got it back to go, I believe, to go to college. I have to double check that. It was in the book I was reading, and like then he denounced it again. I think right after Hitler came into power, or something like that, or maybe before, and then that's when he's trying to leave. But like it's kind of his story is kind of interesting too. But yeah, I thought that was like kind of weird because I always said like Einstein and how he got out. Oh, a lot of those people got out too.
Yeah,
because a lot of the physics community or whatever you want to call them, that was all. Most of those guys were basically Jewish, and there was like I say a lady in there. I forgot her name already, but how she got out too. It was interesting because she like a lot of them too had Jewish bloodlines, but like they didn't practice the religion, and some of them are even like actually like Catholics or Christians, which is just kind of like what. This makes no sense.
Yeah.
Bam.
So yeah, so that's it for this week in history.
That's been it, yes, ladies and gentlemen, for the history part. Let us know if we missed anything. Let us know any cool and interesting facts in the comments down below about the stuff that we just read. Know that I was right about Richard Nixon not being that much older than John F. Kennedy. Let the MLB put that in the record books, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Let's get into the last part, man. Oh, real quick, I just realized. You remember that All-Star year where like it was David Wright, Ryan Howard, and who was the third guy that was rookie kind of guy for the NL?
I don't remember.
Okay, I have to look it up again, but like, because like you said, David Wright was retiring, and I was like,
He is, yeah.
Well, obviously Ryan Howard retired like a while ago, but I was like, remember that like those two guys, and there was someone else in there that had like
that point. I think is too late for it to have been like Miguel Cabrera, because he would have been like when the Marlins won the series. Mm-hmm. Was that his rookie year when the Marlins won the series? Maybe that is the right time period.
Him and Beckett.
Oh yeah, Josh Beckett. I always forget that he exists.
Mm.
I honestly don't remember.
I have to double check that. But yeah, I remember like, dude, there's a third guy in there. Because I remember they were like talking about these new NL stars and stuff. Because like this year they have.
I'm trying to think of like who's retired recently that's like big. I know Victor Martinez is retiring this year, but I don't think he's ever played in the NL.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a catcher. I don't
think Maglio Ordonez ever played in the NL either.
Is there any catchers that are rookies around that time?
It's not old enough for like Piazza.
Yeah, it's not Pence either. I don't think. Maybe Pence would have been a rookie around that time, but I don't think it was him. He would have been that big of a star yet.
Right. I don't remember.
Maybe it was Freddie Freeman? No.
No, Freddie Freeman's only been around for like 5-6 years.
Yeah. Never mind. Anyways, let's get into our last topic of what we're going to talk about. All the dust is almost settled. I mean, for people it depends on what side you're talking about. But Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed on Saturday morning or
no, it was 2 p.m.
Okay, 2 p.m.
Yeah, 2 p.m. Pacific time.
So, yeah, it would have been 4 o'clock. No,
5 o'clock East Coast.
I can't do math. Was confirmed 50-48. I think one of the senators was out of town because of his daughter's wedding, and then
there was an abstention.
What's that?
It means they like neglected to vote.
Okay,
like they chose not to vote.
Okay, so then it was 50-48. So I'm not too sure if they would have said the guy that left the wedding would have voted for him or not. So
He was a Republican, so probably.
yeah, so it would have been maybe 51-48. Kavanaugh was confirmed, obviously, and then there was a lot of backlash, obviously, after that, in the sense, or in the presence of DC with all the marches and whatnot, which was going on before that, anyways, and like how crazy it really gotten. Like I can compare, you can really see some comparisons to when like Donald Trump got inaugurated, but I don't think is as severe as a person as what Brett Kavanaugh is. It's kind of crazy to like see what like the scandal and what was going on. I mean, I always have these not arguments or discussions on Twitter or Facebook. And I was talking to one of the good gentlemen, the one back going to like the immigration one, Al, talking to him, and then he was like, I can't believe how I don't know the exact tweet, but he basically said like, I don't know how these Republican senators can kind of think that the FBI had a thorough investigation. I was like, what they did though. And then went into that, and then I told him like what happened and whatnot. like what the nail in the coffin was basically like the boyfriend's like letter for me, and like how I always start with like this specific situation, like any allegation like this, even going back to the Chris Hardwick and
Chloe
Dykstra. It's for me, like any kind of allegation, I'm always 60-40. So like I'm not that far away from 50-50 or for her, but I'm always 60 for the guy just because you kind of have to be. Just because, like, I mean, you gotta give me the evidence, like I said. And after this, I was probably like pretty close, like 80-90-ish for Kavanaugh, just because I've not that like that's pretty definite or definite about him being innocent, but like the only reason why I live that open is because I believe maybe Ford was probably abused, but not by him, by someone else probably, is what I'm thinking. Just because of all the stuff that's going on in it and how the evidence was pulled out and how that letter came out from her ex-boyfriend, like basically debunking everything. I talk about like the helicopter flight where she was afraid of flying, preparing for a polygraph test when she helped another lady out, even though that lady said that she didn't do it, but you could see her bias and all that and probably why she said that. And then there was another thing. Oh yeah, he was like basically with her for like 8 years. Never mentioned this at all. And then there was another thing that was like really like big that I cannot remember right now. I know the polygraph one was big because she basically lied under oath.
There was also a thing in there about,
but that's also he said she said. So
right,
like,
yeah.
But that's like proving
there's
like,
just as much evidence against her in that sense as there is against Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
But which is nothing on like there is no evidence. Even like the only thing we have is like this boyfriend's letter. Like he doesn't have any corroborating evidence either. Really. Well, there was one point actually that he raised, or that came up. Actually, I'm not sure that it was his, but that did come up. It had to do with her counseling, and the reason for the counseling. So someone, I think it was like a newspaper or something like that. So her counseling started in 2012 with her and her husband and the therapist and all that. That's supposedly where this whole like Kavanaugh was mentioned for the first time. She testified that the reason for the counseling was that she was afraid of like living in small spaces and living in spaces that only had one exit.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
And so right, and so like they were gonna make a door. They were adding a door to their house as like a secondary entrance. But apparently they've pulled records for, because you have to get a permit to do that sort of modification. So like they've pulled records of like the permits and the construction plans and stuff like that. And according to those records, the construction was completed 2 years before the therapy started. And that they had also been like subleasing part of their home, and that's what the second entrance was for.
Yeah.
And like that it had nothing to do with the counseling whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's just like it just like it hurts my head, and I'm like, oh, dude, what? It's not like, it's more in the sense of like destroying a man's name. I get that, but you don't look like a human being when you kind of do stuff like this in my eyes. And like this, I mean, when I told you, like, I was like, oh, I think it was last week we talked about 2 weeks ago about this, and like how I was like, I'm afraid for like future boys in the world, because it seems like they're not going to get the same kind of benefit of the doubt that women weren't getting in the past. And I get that, like, women's rights and whatnot, like I get it, but like we're starting to shift the narrative to where innocence till proven guilty doesn't even exist anymore in this circumstance.
Guilty to proven innocent.
Yeah, boy, not.
No, I mean it is now.
Yeah,
it is,
yeah, but we're starting to change that narrative, and now where you're guilty until proven innocent in this situation. In other situations doesn't really apply, but like this specific one, and I get that, and I saw like a thing that posted about like rapes that are not reported or like rapes that are reported. I'm like, that I think we really need to shift not the narrative, but the education to women that when this stuff really happens, like we get to get emotional, but I think an important thing is like you need to go, and you might be embarrassed, you might be destroyed, you might be withered or whatever you want, however you describe it, but not reporting these kind of incidences and getting the things done to put this person away that's done this, it doesn't help, because that person could go do it to another girl. That's what I'm. Then that goes to like my niece now. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, what? I don't want to call the women that probably got. If let's just say hypothetical, like a woman got, abused or whatnot before, like whatever happens to my niece or something like that, and then now, I'm like, she's just as much as guilty as the man, but I'm like, what are you doing? Like this is why we have these kind of processes. You need to get this done. And like recently, I mean, I'm not going to say the name or who it is, but there was a conversation where I learned about someone having like a stalker, basically. And they had consensual sex before, but then now she's kind of like pushed them away, kind of like said like, hey, I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore, just because like, it was just got a little too rough there, and I understand that. But like now it's getting to the point to where he's like stalking her and like saying like these death threats and whatnot. I'm like, she hasn't reported it, and I'm like, this is what needs to be done. Like, this is how you don't get hurt, and then the next girl doesn't get hurt. And I'm not trying to put the blame on women or like that, because it happens to men too sometimes. But I'm like, this is how you change the way things work and how it works the right way. And I don't understand why it can't be done like this. And I get it. I get like women that get abused like this. They're really afraid of going to the authorities and whatnot, and they're broken and whatnot. But like, you can't change anything unless you do something about it. And getting a rape kit is like the perfect way to doing it. And it's kind of crazy to like. I mean, just for me to say this is kind of crazy, but I'm not trying to be a dick or anything like that. I really have so much empathy for people that have gone through like stuff like this. And it's not cool. It sucks. Like I kind of want to start to tear up a little bit. Like I feel like it, but you can't. It's not about satisfaction or like that. You can't get justice unless you do something about it. And like this is like my thing to like those women out there. Like just if it if it happens tomorrow, then yeah, you have to get something done. Like you can't wait on it. You can't sit there and feel sorry for yourself. You have to do something about it. And like if you don't do anything about it, it's not going to get better. And that's how you make things get better. You don't make things get better by saying it 30 years down the line. Yeah, the man might have a career or whatnot, obviously, but like you're not doing anything. You're literally just throwing air in the air. You're not throwing anything. You know what I mean?
I think what's important about what you're saying is that okay.
I'm just adjusting.
What's important about what you're saying is that like if you report it at the time, so some of the time anyway, what the excuse is given is that like it's a man in power or like in a position of power. And like this, say for example that Kavanaugh did do this. There's no evidence of that, but like if he did, like if you report it when it happens, like yes, he became a powerful judge, and now it is much more daunting of a task to bring an allegation like this against him. But if you if you report it to the local police or to the campus police or like whatever, when it happens, like he has no power as a 17-year-old kid. Like, and I guarantee you, like if you look at Harvey Weinstein or I don't know, maybe Bill Cosby or people like this that like have been convicted of things like this, like I guarantee you the first time that they did something like this was not like the first time Harvey Weinstein assaulted a woman was not after he was the head of Harvey Weinstein Productions. Like I would be willing to put money that like it happened at some point before that. And if that person had the courage, to put it bluntly, to come forward, I understand that there's like a huge amount of shame involved, and like people don't want to like relive what happened to them and stuff like that. But the reality is that if that person comes forward, like Harvey Weinstein doesn't have nearly the power then that he did like 30 years later. And so like that would help the situation incredibly.
Yeah, and to those guys, I don't know. It just like this, it just got really ugly, and for unnecessary reasons. And I get why the Democrats pulled this little last second plan out, and I get it because like their guy that they nominated last time got screwed, and I don't like. I've heard someone say like that the Republicans did something but worse than what the Democrats did to what they did to Kavanaugh. And I think
didn't destroy Merrick Garland. Like they didn't destroy his life. Like they tried to do to Kavanaugh. And
they framed this thing around him to where people aren't going to listen to the actual person. Like when you look at Ben Shapiro and like if you see those people like protesting, they probably don't know anything about Ben Shapiro. They were probably just told that we're going to go protest a white supremacist. And that's what's crazy. It's like these things that are attached to people now that makes no sense.
Yeah, just from like the Democratic response standpoint now, like I've been reading things. It was on Ben Shapiro's show a couple days ago about adding seats to the Supreme Court. And that the people are realizing now that they maybe should do away with the Senate because the Senate is not as democratic of a like entity as it ought to be because all the states are represented equally. Which, by the way, is the whole point of the Senate. I don't know where that those people have been for the last couple 100 years. I guess to circle back to like the actual like Ford and Kavanaugh thing, to me, there were a whole bunch of things that came out, and even during the testimonies and stuff like that, that undermined Dr. Ford's credibility. But to me, the biggest one is the fact that she has now chosen to drop the case against Kavanaugh, which I don't know. I feel like if this was ever at any point about like finding the truth of what happened, like why would you do that? Like say that he did this. Like if you believe that he did this, try to find the evidence for it. And like if they came back to me a week later, if someone came back to me a week later and was like, "Look, here's this thing that they found that like proves Kavanaugh assaulted this girl," like then take him off the court. Like he can be impeached. There's already talk too that like if the Democrats when the Democrats take back control of the Senate or whatever, they're gonna impeach Brett Kavanaugh. And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, like, but like, why not continue the case if you truly are looking for the truth?
Yeah.
Because like, if you find it, he'll be removed. He'll be impeached. It'll happen.
I'm fine if it's true. I'm fine with him getting impeached too.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
If he did it, then he doesn't deserve to be there.
Yeah. Like that's another thing. Like Democrats saying like, oh, they don't care. Like, oh wait. Dude, if this is true, and you have everything to back it up, then get him out of there.
But like, you don't get to throw him out before you get the proof. That's the thing. You have to have due process.
Yeah, and like I don't know, it's just so crazy, dude. It's just insane on how the rights. I mean, there's crazy people on the right, but man, dude, there's so many people just on the left. And I'm just like they're just I don't know if they're blind or something like that, or it just doesn't make any sense. And like how they talk about like it's the way our government's set up, they don't even know that stuff. They don't know why we have a Senate. They don't know why we have Congress. They don't know why we have judges. They don't understand like why we have these things. That's what's scary. And they want to put people in power that like just say things like when they talk about people being or Republicans being sold stuff on Donald Trump and like, oh, he's not very good at doing that stuff. I'm like, well, Bernie Sanders would have never done that either. Like, what are you talking about? It's the same snake oil if you're talking about it. Then, like, geez, it's even worse on the other side. It's stupid.
So now you've got people marching outside of Congress, and like all the congressmen have to be escorted like to and from everywhere that they go, even in the Senate. And you got people pounding on the doors of the Supreme Court about Kavanaugh's appointment. And Hillary Clinton gave an interview like a couple days ago saying that like she was asked about the whole like civility thing that's been going on. Like, how can we be civil when our values are being attacked? Like the way they like I don't know. The rhetoric has just hit like an all-time high.
Yeah, I think
right
I saw
now.
something where she said something like that, and then it showed an old clip of her in like the 90s or something like that. She's like,
You can do that with basically anything any of the Clintons say.
Yeah, I was like,
or
oh
like
my God.
the Joe Biden quotes from when what's her name? When Clarence Thomas was being
back in like
the same thing that happened. I'm totally blanking on the girl's name.
Yeah.
But like he had this thing. He was in charge of that committee, like the same committee that put Kavanaugh in now. Like at the time when Clarence Thomas was being nominated, he was the one in charge, and he said that, like, you can't, like, there is nothing you can gain from an FBI investigation and like all those things. Have you seen that like clip or whatever?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've seen that, and then talks about him, and it talks Clarence Thomas and whatnot. But like, it goes like
Anita Hill is her name.
Yeah, to say what's it called? Like, just people don't know. Like the Senate committee has the power to get all that evidence or whatnot, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, and if you wanted more time for the investigation, maybe you shouldn't have stalled for 6 weeks.
Yeah,
and not done anything with the information.
She had the thing in July. Last day of July, she had it. She waited all like through August, September, or all the way up to the end of September.
Yeah, she like almost 2 whole months. Yeah,
she doesn't care about Ford. Why would she? It doesn't make any sense. She's just mad that it's a Republican judge that's being put in there.
Yep, and it really looks like that this whole thing has kind of backfired on the Democrats, because there are like all sorts of polls about how fired up each of the bases are, like among men and women, and like with the result, like Kavanaugh being appointed, like the ratio of like men and women that support like either side, and like it looks like basically the Democrats' lead in the general election poll has like been halved since like this whole Kavanaugh thing went down. And I think that the fact that Kavanaugh did actually get appointed, not that they were going to go to the vote, because it would kind of hit like a really big high when like they announced they were going to have the vote. Like the Republican base was super fired up. But I think like had he failed to get the nomination, even at that point, like it would have been super discouraging, and you would have seen like another, like the polls would have fallen off. It was like, oh well, like it doesn't matter what we do.
Yeah.
Like they destroyed Kavanaugh or whatever. But like the fact that he like actually got in, I think that's like just super encouraging for like the Republican base.
Yeah, I think there was like within 2 weeks, like the Democrats lost a 15-point lead in one of those polls. I forgot which one it was, but even like I think Ben was describing like white women backing Kavanaugh and like the big increase in that, and I'm like, Democrats, this is what happened during Hillary's election, and you know it's going to happen again, and you're going to get mad again when they might take more seats, or they might hold on to the Senate and Congress, and now you're stuck for another 2 more years. It's like, I don't think they ever learn. Like this,
it doesn't appear that way.
These tactics that they're using are not
gotten
working.
more crazy.
They're just absurd, and I hope they learn. I really do. I really hope they. I mean, just because I think they need to see reality, and I think that's a lot of it.
There goes gravity. Sorry.
I mean, seeing just because like there's a kid on our group thing that like was saying F you to all these Republicans and whatnot, and I was like, dude, like I think you need to like take a break from the internet right now, because I think he said like I think all Republicans should go to hell. I was like, no, you don't think that, dude. You're just mad right now.
Did you see? Was it a senator that said like or like women should divorce their Republican husbands or whatever?
Yeah,
I forget who that was. There's like the like I said, the rhetoric has just hit just like a new all-time thing.
But like I was like, dude, you just need to chill out, man. Like I'm pretty reasonable, honestly. Like all the people I hang out with outside of like our friends group, I'm mostly I would say probably like a liberal or like left leaning, which is fine. I don't care. Just don't talk about politics. I'm just bring up some facts. But
I'll just burn them down.
yeah, but like we get along fine. That's it. It's just the internet crowd. That's what it is too. It's probably only 40% of the country that's probably like cares about this. The other percent's like, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean that's true, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like, this
I'm
is
glad
what
it's
it is.
behind us though.
Yeah.
I'm like we have. I'm sure we'll be talking about it a little more in like the next few episodes, but like we're really only like I think we only have 3 more episodes that we'll record before the midterm elections.
Mm.
So
I got my book thing, but we probably have different. There's probably different people we're voting for though.
on a like a extremely local level, yes, but
Yeah.
like county, state,
Yeah,
and
county, state,
country.
And then, yeah, even like the congressional districts I think are different just by like the 55 freeway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
I have to double check that.
it must be for House, not Senate. But I don't think Senate.
Yeah, for House. Yeah, for Senate. Oh yeah, we're
Senate's not even. I don't even think one of the Senate seats are up. It's like Kamala Harris isn't for another 2 years, and
Yeah, there's no. I don't
Dianne
think there's,
Feinstein's not for
there's no
another
Senate. Yeah,
4,
just
I think, or
the
something like that.
representative seats.
Yeah. Okay.
That's been it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for getting emotional with me there. If you haven't already, go ahead and like, share, subscribe to the College Avenue channel or the College Avenue stations on SoundCloud, iTunes, or Google Play. To check out all the links down below. Jesus, oh my goodness,
It's been a long episode.
Yes, it has. And to thank you guys for watching. Let us know about the Kavanaugh stuff and what you guys think about it. We know we're pretty right-leaning. We do talk to people on the left a lot too. I do for sure. I don't know about you, how much you do that, but I definitely really enjoy talking to the people on the other side that are pretty reasonable, pretty civil. You can get real mad with me or whatnot. Which is fine, but I'm willing to talk. I'm not willing to just walk away from conversations that aren't going anywhere. Sometimes I do that just because it's not going anywhere. But like I said already, that's been the Jacob and Me podcast show. I've been Richard Rodillo, joined by the man with the noggin, Jacob Bullard. Go ahead and check out our other videos. He just put some cool stuff on the College Avenue after hours stuff on FIFA, which is getting some views right there, man. And go check out what he's doing over there if you really are trying to get into FIFA or don't know anything about FIFA. You can learn a lot by this man right here. We're going to hopefully do an after hours full thing this weekend. We'll see.
Okay.
We're going to try. Maybe just me, you play Assassin's Creed or something like that.
Assassino.
But that's been it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.